1210 WPHT.
Joe Biden is 3,000 years old. What's Kamala Harris's excuse? Seriously. Joe Biden, our incumbent commander-in-chief, I think, last seen on a beach in Delaware, passed out in a chair next to his wife, Nurse Ratched herself, Dr. Jill. He's allegedly running the country, and he's incompetent, and he's incontinent. And someone on the left decided it would be a good idea to sabotage him and get him out of the race early to try to preserve their chances of beating Donald Trump by pushing him into an early debate. That's now ancient history. Biden out, Harris in. Now she wants out of the debate. I'm going to ask the question again. What is her excuse? Well, she's not going to say this. We know what it is. She's borderline mentally challenged, and it annoys some of you when I say that, but did you watch that CNN interview? I did it so that you didn't have to watch it. All 16 and a half minutes, something like that. She's either stupid, drunk, or high, or some cocktail of all three. I'm speaking from experience, folks. I've been a municipal prosecutor for, I want to say, 14 years, something like that. I've dealt with a lot of addicts. I've dealt with a lot of people that make, we would say to our children, red choices instead of green choices. She does not speak. She does not function as an intelligent human being that's in full possession of her faculties. I'm just saying. So now she wants out of the debate, so we may not get a Philly debate. But I'll tell you what you will get tonight in Philadelphia. You will get a full 3-hour Matt Rooney show, you lucky ducks. Greetings once again here on 1210 WPHT. 3 hours. They're crazy enough to give it to us here on the air. We're going to make the most of it today on September 1st for our bilingual listeners and viewers out there. It's arrived. September is here. So we are going to talk a lot of politics tonight because the fall has arrived for all intents and purposes. I know, and if Dan Cerrucci, our friend, is listening out there, he is grimacing as I say it. We have a few more weeks left of fall, technically speaking, if you're into the whole science thing. But guess what? If you've got kids, if you've got a job, if you have a normal rhythm of familial life, which carries into this part of the year, for all intents and purposes, we're done with the pool, we're done with the beach. It's time to get down to business, and that's what we're going to do here on the Matt Rooney Show. Not that we took the summer off. Every week, big guests, intense analysis of important topics, some humor too, even when it's unintentional, because look at me. Comedy follows me, the kind of person I am. But this month, next month, straight through Election Day, nonstop, I'm going to take off as little as possible, if at all, if I can help it, because we have to see this through. As I keep telling you, we have a republic to save, and we're going to save it if we can. Couple things out of the way at the top of the program here. 855-839-1210 is the number if you want to call and get in on this show the old-fashioned way if you have something to say and you want to say it in a way that I find interesting, right? This is a dictatorship around here, not the kind that the Democrats want to set up, where they strip you of your fundamental liberties if they are ever granted another 4 years in the White House. It's my program. So if you call in and you've got something that makes me say that's a really good point, or you're going to call me out and you're more articulate than Kamala Harris, right, which should be a relatively low bar for this audience. I have a very high opinion of you. You might just get a chance to speak with me. If you're a little bit more passive but definitely aggressive, check us out on YouTube, youtube.com/@1210WPHT, where you can participate in the comments. You can confirm that I am indeed as handsome as I sound. Sometimes you can even ask a question, and I might glance down at my tablet screen and say, you know what, Producer Andrew, that's a darn good thought that was expressed by viewer X, and I'll address it.
A lot of the listeners have a lot of good points that I've noticed over the last several months. And,
yeah.
It's been a very integral part of the show.
They're smart people.
They really are.
Some of them are a little crazy.
Yeah.
But to use one of Kamala's favorite instruments, there's a Venn diagram, right?
Right.
Crazy, intelligence. There's a space in between. We like to think that that's the space that the Matt Rooney Show occupies.
Yeah.
So youtube.com/@1210WPHT. Head over there. Give us a like. If we get enough likes, I don't know, maybe we get something from the station. More likely not, but it's bragging rights, folks, and that counts for something. So busy program tonight, as we've had every weekend all summer. Very, very, very big guest tonight. Very excited about this because we've all been watching the polls, even though we remind ourselves regularly that the polls don't matter. The only poll that truly matters. I got to stop saying election day because voting actually starts in just a couple of weeks in many of the battleground states. We get that those are the only votes that actually matter. The polls don't. But what else do we have to do, right? We're all nervous about this election, so we're going to obsess over whatever data we can get our hands on. What I like to tell people is it's not that polling is useless. It's just that you have to remember that the same networks and universities that are indoctrinating your children, lying and trying to manipulate you, doing everything they can to advance a narrative instead of actually attempting to uncover the truth and share it with their audiences. That's how they behave 24/7, 365. Why would it stop at polling? If ABC, if CNN, if all of these other outlets are waging a war on your mind every other day of the week, why are you all of a sudden going to believe that poll they drop on Sunday is the one time that they're engaged in a little bit of accidental honesty? You'd be a fool to think so. And I think that Ipsos poll that we got out today, that ABC Ipsos poll, did you see this thing? With Kamala Harris up like 1,500 points? Yeah, it's... So I said, who are we going to have on tonight to explain this and help us work through this? And not give us false hope, but give us some legitimate analysis, which isn't colored by bias. So we've got the one, the only Mark Mitchell. He is the lead pollster for Rasmussen, which... We got another Rasmussen poll out this past week. It's one of the only outlets that polls daily. They've got Trump up too. We want to talk to Mark about his polling, what he's seeing out there, maybe give us some hot tips for how to interpret the polling that the mainstream and legacy guys try to shove down our throats every day when we're trying to get some legitimate election analysis. I suspect if you've ever seen him on social media or in any of the other programs out there, He's not a guy that pulls punches. So this will be the first time we'll have him on this program. We've had Kalehi over at Trafalgar. We've had the big data pollster, Rich Barris. Very excited to finally get to speak to Mr. Rasmussen himself. We'll also take your calls, as I said, if we can find some good ones, and try to cover as much other information as this programming format allows. I always run out of time to talk about everything that I want to share with you on Sunday night, but I'll prioritize. I'll prioritize because I want to prepare you for the week ahead by sharing with you what matters from the week gone by. So remember, 855-839-1210. Hello, let's go over to YouTube for a second. Hello, Four Rascals, 321. Love that shirt, Matt. Thank you. I appreciate that. I've got a floral pattern here with some more flamingos. I've been leaning into the flamingos this season. Unintentional. I go to this very fancy, highfalutin, expensive boutique that most of you couldn't afford, so I'm almost reluctant to share it with you. It's called Old Navy. Very elite. Have you heard of this, Justin? Old Navy?
I very much am. I am a frequent shopper at Old Navy.
I could tell. The minute I saw you, I said, there's a man with discriminating tastes like myself.
I appreciate it.
So I want to say this probably cost somewhere in the arena of $12.99 at Old Navy earlier in the season.
They got a lot of clearance stuff.
They have a lot of clearance stuff, but I got it earlier in the season before it went to clearance, and they're just leaning into flamingos this year. But I will tell you, gentlemen, and I'll tell you Four Rascals, because I got this question the other day on X. Someone said, love the shirts, but summer's almost over. Are you going to transition to non-floral patterns? And the answer is this, yes and no. I will still continue to mix these in, but yes, I mean, you may at some point see some pumpkins on here, maybe some Trump heads if I can find that. Maybe even as we get closer to Christmas, some candy canes. I will mix it up to try to make it a little bit more seasonal because I know some of you depend on these things. You live very sad existences like me, so it's the very simple things in life that entertain you. John's over there. Hello, John. Hello, Mangle Mush. Good to see you again. So I got to see some of you this week when I was filling in for Dom Giordano. Got to fill in for Dom a couple days this week. Borrowed the car. Didn't crash it into anything. We had a lot of fun, and we had some good guests. I got to hang out with Tall Dan, Big Dan Borowski, who's in a class by himself when it comes to producing. Fantastic guy. And it's fun because some of you that are over on the YouTube page, I'm starting to doubt whether or not you actually exist in real life because you're always here. You're here on Sunday nights. I see you during the week. I've seen many of you when I filled in on Nick Kale's program at 6 o'clock in the morning. They start at 6 a.m. if you haven't heard. So, I mean, God love you. We need you, right? You're a big part of this station's family. I used to think that Andrew was the only one who never went home. You and Henry. Henry's here all the time.
Yeah. Well, especially like when he was doing this and the morning show and all that stuff, he was like,
Oh, yeah.
does he sleep? Is that a thing for him?
No, he was the phantom of the Schuylkill, man. You see him skulking around, looking for food.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of a little bit scary, actually. Although, I saw him the other day because he produces for Dawn Stensland, her program, 10 to 12 here at the station, Monday through Friday, and she got him to shave. He doesn't even have a mullet anymore. I said, is that all it took? Dawn's motherly demeanor or feminine touch, whatever the heck it is.
He got a haircut and everything?
Yeah, I saw him, and I almost had said hello to him and didn't know it was him. Oh, hello, young man. How are you? Oh. I'm used to Henry looking like he's, looking around at a dumpster for some scraps of bread to make a sandwich. So that was interesting. But always a pleasure to be in for the great Dom Giordano, who's got Pints and Politics coming up here in September, too. There's an event, 1210 WPHT. Make sure you head over to the station website to check it out. He's going to be appearing with Donald Trump Jr. So you can head over to the Scottish Rite Auditorium in Collingswood, my neck of the woods, over in the Dirty Jers, and you can get a book. You can probably get to meet Don Jr. It's going to be awesome. And you can probably have a pint, too. It's in the title. So I hope you get to have a beer if you end up going. All right, so now that we have all the business out, I'm going to caffeinate a little bit. We're going to take a break to play some ads and make some money because I am a capitalist. And emphasis on the caffeinate here, because I will tell you folks, my enthusiasm for this program is boundless because I am so passionate about what we're trying to accomplish here, informing the American people, as many of them as we can possibly reach, about what they need to know to make smart decisions when they head to the polls. That's fundamentally what this is all about, right? We want to reach as many people as possible so that they know what they need to know about their republic, about the candidates, about the issues, so that when they head into the polling booth or when they fill out that vote by mail ballot, they say, I'm well informed. And Matt Rooney and his program and his station helped me along the way. Tonight, I'm a little bit on the struggle bus. We had and my fellow parents, and if any of you are grandparents know where I'm coming from here, we did the beach this weekend, which if you've ever taken children to the beach, Andrew is nodding in there morosely. You know what I'm talking about here.
A little bit.
Yeah. I saw the sympathy, actually, from some younger guys that were on the beach, like college-age guys. Maybe they're not back at school yet or they came back for the weekend, watching me haul an entire luggage train by myself to our spot on the beach. And they looked at me with sympathy, and I kind of looked in their direction, and I said, guys, it's going to be you soon. Hopefully not too soon, right? Make smart decisions this weekend if you're hanging out with your lady friend. But eventually, it will more than likely be you. You will be hauling one child under each arm, a beach umbrella. We have one of those Kubla Khan tents that we bring down to the water. We got it all. Shovels, buckets.
The whole 9 yards.
You know, the kids got their K rations. Like I could have waged a war on a small country.
Starting a fire on the beach and cooking some fish that you just caught and all that stuff.
Yeah. So we did that, and then today we went for anybody that's listening in the Delaware Valley, our core listening region here, our home region. There's this great little amusement park in, I think it's West Berlin in South Jersey, called Diggerland. There's two of them. There's one in South Jersey, and then my brother-in-law tells me there's another one over in the Netherlands or something like that. I don't know. Probably won't get to that one anytime soon. It's basically an amusement park for kids that like construction equipment. You can operate an excavator. They have this one ride that's just absolutely sick where they put you in the back of a dump truck and they dump you. You don't actually fall out. You're buckled in. It's awesome, but we got there at 10 a.m. when they opened, did the water park. That was great. About noon or 1 o'clock when we were over at the regular park, the sun came out. The clouds parted. Up until that point, it was a perfect amusement park day because it wasn't cold, it wasn't raining, but it was overcast. The sun came out, and all of a sudden, it might as well have been the Sahara Desert. So I literally crawled across the Ben Franklin Bridge to get here tonight. That's how devoted I am to all of you and to the cause that we all share. So you're welcome. Don't mention it. 855-839-1210. Andrew's looking at me like, am I going to have to run him with some smelling salts or something? No, it's not that bad. I'm a professional. If I didn't tell you, you wouldn't even know.
Well, I'm looking, and I'm just making sure, like, if I start to see your head going one way and then, you get a little bit away from the microphone, it's just stuff producers have to be aware of and to be ready for.
Well, that's why I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, Justin might have to come in here and start slapping me during the break or something. Make sure you turn off the camera, though, because if any kids are watching, I don't want them to see that.
Right. Well, get a cup of coffee, run it underneath your nose, Yeah. Gotta do something.
I'm pretty sure Stocker and Frank teach you guys this when you sign up.
It's basic producer first aid.
Yes, absolutely.
That's what we went to college for.
Yeah. We have a giant thing of scotch. You can't see it behind Andrew, and it's like a do not break in case of an emergency. Little funnel, pour it in my mouth, wake up juice. These are the tricks of the trade you learn when you're a professional here at 1210 WPHT. And that's what we are here on the Matt Rooney Show. We're professionals, and we're looking forward to the next 2.5 hours. We hope you hang with us. Again, one more time, over on YouTube, youtube.com/@1210WPHT. Coming up in the next hour, Mark Mitchell from Rasmussen Reports, and plenty more. So caffeinate, get that coffee ready, pop that popcorn. We'll be back with more in just a moment.
You hear more and more about identity theft in the news every day. That's because so much of your personal info is out of your control, like your insurance provider that has your Social Security number and your favorite retailer that has your payment details. If they get breached, your information's vulnerable. That's why LifeLock monitors millions of data points a second for threats. If your identity's stolen, they'll fix it guaranteed or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code PLAY at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Did you know your life insurance is an asset you can sell? I'm Jay Jackson, CEO of Abacus Life. For almost 20 years, Abacus has been purchasing life insurance policies from seniors just like you. And at abacuspays.com, we've created a free policy value calculator so you can find out the worth of your policy in just seconds. There are no fees and no obligations. Get real value from your life insurance when you need it with Abacus. Learn more at abacuspays.com.
Just like our offensive line protects our star quarterback, plumbers protect the health of the nation. And Philadelphia Plumbers Union Local 690 is no different. In hospitals, commercial, industrial, and residential, with the best trained plumbers in the world, you can be sure your project is done on time and on budget, no matter how big or small. So when your business needs to build new or expand existing facilities, you can count on the members of Plumbers Union Local 690. Visit plumbers690.org.
Heading down the shore this Labor Day weekend? Maybe looking for the perfect place to relax, unwind, listen to live music, all while enjoying delicious cocktails and food? Then you have to get to Mulligan's Beach Bar in Wildwood, New Jersey. Mulligan's is open every day with great lunch and dinner specials, cocktails, and of course, happy hour. Celebrate Labor Day weekend at Mulligan Shore Bar in Wildwood. You'll be glad you did. Find Mulligan's on Facebook at Mulligan Shore Bar. And remember to tell them WPHT sent you. Don't miss the Education Show with Dom Giordano every Sunday morning at 5:30. Find out how you can help your child or grandchild succeed. Sponsored by New Hope Academy. Don't miss the Labor and Energy Show with J-Doc and Krause, brought to you by Advocacy United, this Saturday night at 6. Find out about the important issues that'll affect you. The Labor and Energy Show, Saturday night at 6 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
An excessive heat warning is in effect. Is your AC system struggling to keep your home cool? If you hear something funny, smell something burny, your AC is frozen or leaking water, or even feel warm air coming from your unit, it's time to call CNC. CNC Heating and Air Conditioning, your local York certified comfort experts, can make it a no-sweat summer for your entire household with one phone call. 0% financing options available. Don't wait until it's too late. Visit cc-hvac.com to request your estimate today.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. It's that time for the Rescue Natural Supplement Labor Day sale, the ultimate celebration of savings and well-being. Right now, all Rescue supplements are slashed up to 70% off. Plus, enjoy free shipping, too. So whether you're searching for immune support, joint care, heart health, or a youthful glow, Rescue has health essentials for everyone. Take a break. Celebrate your workplace achievements with savings on a probiotic, omega-3s, multivitamins, and so much more. Call them at 800-26-ALIVE, 800-262-5483. Speak to a knowledgeable product consultant, or you can shop online at res-q.com, res-q.com. Celebrate Labor Day with 30 to 70% off. Again, all Rescue products are slashed up to 70% off site-wide. No codes needed. Just call or go to res-q.com to get this Labor Day deal right now. Start feeling like a new you with Rescue today.
What's on the menu for football season? Pork, of course. Get ready for game day with Hatfield and put some pork on your fork. Elevate your kickoff cuisine and halftime feast with Hatfield's winning lineup of marinated pork tenderloins, pork loin fillets, ground pork and sausage, bacon and ham. Whether you're the tailgate king or gridiron gourmet, Hatfield helps you savor the taste of victory. Visit simplyhatfield.com for play-by-play menu inspiration. Find your flavor with Hatfield.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Why should you hire the largest injury firm in the world for your injury case? Let me count the ways. Your case will be handled by your lawyer, a paralegal, and a case manager who's always in the office for you when your lawyer's in court. There's also a 24-hour hotline if you ever have a question or a problem. We've collected over $20 billion and won a lot. Injured? The choice is easy. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 five-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Calling on Blackwood to follow 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
Some of you are just not too nice. If I'm going to be honest about it, over on YouTube, youtube.com/@1210 WPHT, Signs of Autumn says, I'm popping in to see Matt pass out. That's mean. I'm not going to do it. I have full command of my faculties, unlike a certain president of the United States we know. But why would you want to see something so sad? Why would you want to see Justin and Andrew have to scrape me off the carpet? Come on. Andrew's walking back into the booth saying, what did I miss?
Apparently I missed something. But
No, I was just saying some people are being mean to me over on YouTube, saying they want to see me pass out. Yeah, see, exactly.
What in God's name?
Exactly. And 855-839-1210 is the number here on the Matt Rooney Show if you want to participate. Did you see that Cory Booker TikTok. I don't have a TikTok
I don't have a TikTok either.
because I don't want the Chinese to own everything about me.
Right. I don't want them to know all my secrets.
Yeah. Which you're a man of many secrets. Man of great depth
Somewhat.
and mystery.
It depends on
Yeah.
what it is, but thank you. I appreciate it.
But there's a TikTok of Cory Booker, Spartacus, Senator Twitter from my state. Not proud of it. Blocked me on Twitter, by the way. So there you go. I'm blocked by Meghan McCain and Cory Booker on Twitter. I don't know what I did to Meghan McCain. Cory Booker, a little easier to figure out why he doesn't like me because of my many years of writing about him and his corruption and his nonsense over at SaveJersey.com. But there's a TikTok up of Cory Booker doing some kind of comical falling down, roll tripping or something at Democrat headquarters over here in Pennsylvania. I think it might have been somewhere in Bucks County. I don't understand TikTok. I'm not that old. I'm 39 years old, but I don't get the humor. But I'm thinking maybe it's not me. I think maybe just America in general doesn't think this stuff is funny.
Like, is this I have TikTok, but I can't. I'll be honest. I don't sit there and say, I'm gonna see what Senator Cory Booker is doing. Is it like supposed to be like a Gene Wilder, like Willy Wonka type thing?
No, because Gene Wilder got back up. Right? He limps out of the chocolate factory.
That's the difference?
He does a somersault that springs up. Well, yeah, I mean, Gene Wilder had talent. Was likable.
A little bit of talent.
And then, of course, the fictional Willy Wonka was a genius, right? Developed this chocolate empire. I don't think Cory Booker could have ever pulled that off. But, I meant what I said. I'm starting to think that it's not just me. There's a survey that was conducted by Echelon Insights. You may have seen their polling before. And I caught this the other day on X. I think it was Puck News, if you've ever seen them. As it turns out, just as Twitter isn't real life, neither is TikTok. Echelon asked voters, how would you feel if somebody told you were brat? Are you familiar with this term, Justin? Because you're the Gen Zer on call here.
Yeah, it has something to do, like, it's this whole rollout to do with this musical artist, Charlie XCX's new musical album titled Brat. I don't listen to Charlie XCX personally, but, being the Gen Z representative here, I know people that do, and they've decided to make being a brat, whatever that entails from the album, pretty much their entire personality for the last month or two, give or take.
More or less, right? And it doesn't make any sense to me, but apparently it doesn't make sense to a majority of Americans because Echelon Insight says that a majority of likely voters said they would either be offended, that was 36%, confused, that's me, by the way, 24%, or unsure, 20%, if someone called them brat. Only 20% said they would be delighted, like Justin here. A number that was only slightly higher among voters aged 18 to 34. And I think that's critical because even the Democratic coalition that the left thinks they're reaching with coconut memes and stuff, apparently it's falling flat. Echelon also asked about all the Harris memes, right? I mentioned the coconut one before where kids are pretending to, I don't know what they're doing. Are they molding the coconut? Are they rubbing the coconut?
It has to do with something Kamala said about a coconut tree.
She said her mother used to say, what, did you just fall out of a coconut tree?
And I guess it's like them falling down or climbing up the coconut tree.
I think the idea is that, hey, listen, you come from something, right? You just didn't fall into this yourself. It's Barack Obama's you didn't build that formulation because the left hates the idea of an individual accomplishing anything. And this is something that's fashionable with, I guess, some out there on the left. So they asked, what memes have you seen about the upcoming presidential election? And voters were permitted to respond any way they wanted. This was open-ended. And 75% said they had not seen any memes about the election. A small sliver of voters said they had seen a variety of memes but couldn't name one. So maybe there's some subliminal effect there, but not one that we can easily trace. 75% also said they had not seen any memes about the candidates. 2% had seen a meme about Trump bloodied and bandaged up. Let me try that again. His ear after the attempt on his life in Pennsylvania. 1% had seen a meme of Kamala Harris laughing, and they probably need therapy. Only 2% had said that they saw a brat meme, and only 1% could tell you anything about a coconut other than the fact that it's a fruit. So there you go. The Harris campaign has leaned heavily into this social media strategy. I'm not sure that it's actually bearing any fruit at all. And this is probably one of a billion reasons why she wants out of the debate. I mentioned this at the top of the program. It's been reported, and I think it was first reported by a New Jersey journalist native, Josh Dawsey. I think he's still over at, where is he? He's with the Washington Post or the Wall Street Journal? He's at the Washington Post. So he reported that the Trump campaign had accepted the rules that were set forth by ABC, which included the muted mics. There's no audience. The Harris campaign had initially led everyone to believe that they were down with that. And these are the same rules that Joe Biden had to live under for that fateful debate, if you want to call it that, earlier in the cycle. Now, all of a sudden, it appears Kamala Harris is changing her mind. She actually retweeted over on X Dawsey's commentary on her having not accepted the rules, despite the fact that we're only a couple weeks out. She did this yesterday. Donald Trump is surrendering to his advisors, who won't allow him to debate with a live microphone. If his own team doesn't have confidence in him, the American people definitely can't. We are running for president of the United States. Let him debate in a transparent way with the microphones on the whole time. Now, for anybody that's ever done any amateur debating, if you're a nerd, you did it in high school, right? Or maybe you've gone and you've seen your nephew or your niece debate. That's usually how it works. You're not allowed to speak over the other person. And I think most Americans would agree that, particularly given how little of substance we've heard from Kamala Harris at this point, most people have no idea what this woman believes. It'd be nice to hear candidates ask a question and candidates answer a question without them nattering at each other such that you can't hear anything. I don't think that it's controversial to assert that that makes for a better debate. Now, unfortunately, a better debate is not one that serves the party that can't run on its record. And that was part of the problem that Joe Biden ran into, in addition to the fact that the vitamin B shots that they hit him with before every debate or every public appearance back when they were still trying to run him for president clearly didn't work that night, or they wore off, and he was a hot mess. It's obvious enough what's really happening here, right? Kamala Harris benefits when she is not exposed to actual scrutiny. It's the only way in which she can function, because she's an idiot. And I know some of you get angry at me on social media when I call her an idiot. Again, you've seen her speak. I don't know what other appropriate terminology you can use to describe what she is. She's not a particularly intelligent person. I didn't like Barack Obama. I would have never said he was an idiot. I didn't like Bill Clinton. Never would have accused the man of being an idiot. A pervert with no basic control over his baser instincts, right? But not stupid. That wasn't his problem. Bill Clinton's problem was always south of his equator, right? It had nothing to do with his brain. It had to do with a different hemisphere of his anatomy, and I'll leave it at that because this is a family program. Kamala Harris is a stupid person. And before you attempt to accuse me of being sexist, some of the most qualified people right now in this country to be president happen to be women. It's just the Democrat Party doesn't like them. They've given us 2 female presidential candidates in recent memory. One of them was a crook, Hillary Clinton, and the other is a communist and an idiot, Kamala Harris. I don't know what to tell you. Give me Condi Rice and I'll vote for her. Give me Tulsi Gabbard and I'll vote for her. I could give you a long list of women that are qualified to be president of the United States. Kamala Harris isn't one of them. And if I'm Trump, I know Karl Rove and some others would agree with this advice. If she wants to get into that, I want to get into that at the debate. That would be my answer, assuming this debate happens. It'd be that I could give you a long list of women and name a bunch that would be fantastic presidents. The Democrat Party doesn't want to nominate them. But Kamala Harris knows that the longer she can stay away from the cameras, the longer she can hide the football, the better chance she has of pulling this out. That was always the plan here. And Rich Zeoli here at our station really nailed this, right? Have the debate early so they could have an excuse to get Biden out and force him out. Bring in Kamala Harris, have this massive rollout with her at the Democrat convention where she would get a month, the entire month of August, of nothing but positive coverage about how she's this breath of fresh air, finally somebody who isn't Trump or Biden. And then she could just ride that into the final couple months of the campaign, and Trump would have not enough time left and not enough money, not enough resources, not enough support from the media to define her. But look at the polls. Even this nonsense ABC poll we got today with her up 6 points, which I'm telling you right now, Kamala Harris will not win by 6 points. Okay? Unless they find a dead lady of the night in Donald Trump's trunk between now and November, right, up at Bedminster. And even then, I'm not sure it would make a difference at this point. She's not winning by 6 points. She did not get the bounce. And they acknowledged that, ABC did, in their coverage of their own poll today, that, hey, she's up a few points, but it's still relatively close when you factor in the margin of error. And guess what? She got no bounce in their survey from before the convention to today. So they're in panic mode. This is a panic move. She cannot be exposed because when she is exposed, she sounds like an idiot. And they're worried about running into the same exact situation with which brought us Kamala Harris to begin with. They're worried that she's going to debate and she is going to make a you-know-what out of herself in front of the entire country, and then it will be too late to replace her. What's left at that point? They can't get her off the ballot at that point. And then you got that creepy guy from Minnesota that's running along with her, who, the more you learn about him, serial liar, freaks you out, not that compelling, and somehow even crazier than she is. They are going to try to get out of this debate. I don't know if they're going to successfully be able to do it, but they're absolutely going to try. And I think what happened on CNN last week has only crystallized on the left the need to abort that debate. They got to get out of it somehow. Got to get out of it. And this is one of my favorite quotes from that debate. It didn't even come from Kamala Harris. We know they're serial liars. We know that they lie professionally. It's the one thing they do well, actually, in Kamala Waltz land. Kamala Harris recently lied about working at McDonald's, it appears, which who lies about working at McDonald's? Of all the things to lie about, I can think of a lot of things to lie about. In politics, you lie about having an affair, right? You lie about, that time that you plagiarized the paper. We've seen it all, right? Why would you lie about working at McDonald's? I think it's because they're fake, and lying just comes so naturally. We all know these people in our lives who get so comfortable with lying, they actually begin to confuse what's real and what isn't. It's blurred for them. And I think she's one of those people. Tim Walz, I mean, what hasn't the man lied about? Lied about carrying weapons of war in war, lied about what rank he had, right? When he left the National Guard. The list has gone on and on and on and on. He had a very interesting excuse for his lying when he appeared in that joint interview with Kamala Harris in front of Dana Bash this past week. And even for the left, which assumes that everybody's as stupid as they are, and therefore they don't need to come up with a good excuse, they don't respect us enough to try to formulate one, this one still nearly knocked my socks off. This is, which one is this, boys?
Cut number 7?
This is 7, yeah. It should have been cut number 1 because, well, just listen to this if you didn't subject yourself to it.
The country is just starting to get to know you. I want to ask you a question about how you've described your service in the National Guard. You said that you carried weapons in war, but you have never deployed actually in a war zone. A campaign official said that you misspoke. Did you?
Well, first of all, I'm incredibly proud. I've done 24 years of wearing the uniform of this country. Equally proud of my service in a public school classroom, whether it's Congress or the governor. My record speaks for itself, but I think people are coming to get to know me. I speak like they do. I speak candidly. I wear my emotions on my sleeves, and I speak especially passionately about about our children being shot in schools and around guns. So I think people know me. They know who I am. They know where my heart is. And again, my record has been out there for over 40 years to speak for itself.
And the idea that you said that you were in war, did you misspeak as the campaign has said?
Yeah, I said we were talking about, in this case, this was after a school shooting, the ideas of carrying these weapons of war. And my wife, the English teacher, told me my grammar is not always correct. But again, if it's not this, it's an attack on my children for showing love for me, or it's an attack on my dog. I'm not going to do that. And the one thing I'll never do is I'll never demean another member's service in any way. I never have, and I never will.
So did you get that? He's not lying. It's grammar. He's just not that good at grammar. Okay? Maybe someone in the Democrat Party or on the campaign should buy him, what is it, Grammarly? That software that'll check your prose for you.
He somehow has he's got a couple of degrees from university, and somehow he's got bad grammar. He never took College Comp 1, College Comp 2, some gen eds.
Yeah, right? I mean, what how, well, I already answered the question. I was going to say, how dumb do they think we are? They think that we're as dumb as they are. That we would believe this, that this man who, again, his ideas are crazy, but he's got some guile, right? The idea that this is just a matter of, well, I get emotional and sometimes I use the wrong phraseology. Sometimes my grammar's off. No, they can't run as themselves in this election. The more Americans learn about who the real Kamala Harris is, the real Tim Walz is, the more they are not only disinterested in supporting this ticket, they're actually, I'll use one of their favorite words, weirded out by the lack of qualification, by the wacky ideas, by the massive gaping holes in their biographies. Donald Trump is what he is. You don't have to love the man, but you know his story, you know what he's accomplished, you know his warts, you know his failings, you know what he's been able to do because we had him in office for 4 years. How does that stack up against what you saw on CNN this past week, what you've experienced over the past 4 years? There's a reason she doesn't want to debate. It should be pretty obvious to anyone who hasn't been living under a rock. 855-839-1210 is the number. youtube.com/@1210WPHT. Quick timeout. Back with more Matt Rooney Show in just a few moments.
This month, Talk Radio 1210's Veteran Spotlight salutes Sean Fishburne, Pennsylvania National Guard veteran. Be here this Wednesday morning, September 4th, as Kale & Company shine a spotlight on this outstanding local veteran in partnership with the Travis Manion Foundation, celebrating their remarkable commitment to service. Presented by Window Nation. For all of your window and door needs, visit windownation.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call, and I'll send you our Timeshare Exit Information Kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit, 800-329-2121. 800-329-2121. 800-329-2121.
Hi, this is Joe Meterchick, PNC Bank Regional President. Sticking to the fundamentals and not wavering from the game plan is a great philosophy for football and banking. And for nearly 160 years, our dedicated local PNC teams are in formation to help fans receive sound and reliable personalized financial advice to get them across the goal line. Because, as we see it, a win for them is a win for the greater Philadelphia community. PNC Bank, brilliantly boring since 1865. PNC Bank, National Association, member FDIC.
Retirement can be scary, but only if you're not prepared. That's why AARP created thisispretirement.org. Because unless you've already retired, you're in pretirement, and you still have time to plan. Learn about retirement savings options, potential tax breaks, and how you can build savings over time. Visit thisispretirement.org for free resources to help you customize your action plan and feel the retirement fear disappear. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call, and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit, 800-329-2121. 800-329-2121. 800-329-2121.
This is Dr. Marianne Ritchie. Tune in to Your Radio Doctor every Saturday afternoon at 5 here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT for the latest healthcare news and information, because your health is your wealth. That's Your Radio Doctor, Saturdays at 5.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. The kids are heading back to the classroom. Make sure your child or grandchild has all the tools they need to succeed. Call Kathy Ganna and New Hope Academy in Yardley and Doylestown, 800-300-0003. Let New Hope Academy transform your child's life forever by helping them now and prepare for a great school year. For over 3 decades, New Hope Academy founder Kathy Ganna, pioneering educator and entrepreneur who created the NHA model, has been utilizing state-of-the-art solutions to uncover ways where your child could avoid struggling and succeed. At New Hope Academy, there's a student-teacher ratio of just 2-to-1, allowing for students to deal with many disorders, including high anxiety, social and emotional, bipolar. Don't wait to prepare your student. Do it now. Remember, only the best teachers can work at NHA. Call for a no-obligation tour and consultation. 90% of NHA graduates pursue a college education. Online, newhopeacademy.net. Call New Hope Academy now, 800-300-0003.
40 days to lose up to 40-plus pounds with NJ Diet. It only takes 40 days to lose a contractually guaranteed 20 to 40-plus pounds. NJ Diet uses your hair, saliva, and blood work to personalize supplements that will target your hormonal imbalances so you can lose that weight. Then NJ Diet uses your DNA info to help you keep it off. Call Dr. T, 855-5NJ-DIET, or go to njdiet.com. 40 days up to 40 pounds, 40 days up to 40 pounds, NJ Diet.
The Cubs make their way to South Philly on Monday, September 23rd and Tuesday, September 24th, both at 6:40, and Wednesday, September 25th at 6:05. Join the action and snag your seats today at Phillies.com. Bring the fam to Giant Family Day on Sunday, September 15th at 1:35 when the Phils host the Mets, and kids 14 and under receive a Fanatic lunch bag. Order tickets now at Phillies.com.
At PGW, safety is essential to delivering clean, reliable natural gas to Philadelphia homes and businesses. If you smell gas, call PGW at 215-235-1212.
Hi, I'm Angie Hicks, co-founder of Angie. When you use Angie for your home projects, you know all your jobs will be done well. Roof repair? Done well. Kitchen sink install? Done well. Deck upgrades? Done well. Electrical upgrade? Done well. Angie's been connecting homeowners with skilled pros for nearly 30 years, so we know the difference between done and done well. Hire high-quality, certified pros at Angie.com.
When you haven't found love, it can feel like everyone else has. It's in every movie, every song, and all the PDA. Looking for love sucks. Thankfully, California Psychics can give you the guidance you need to find the one. We guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com and experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Be sure to follow Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
We'll have more on Kamala Harris's, I think, disastrous performance on CNN last week in the second and third hours. She needed, like Joe Biden needed to do after that terrible debate with Donald Trump, reinstill confidence in certain sections of the electorate that after ducking the media for so long, she could string a couple coherent thoughts together. And she didn't do that. So those questions will now persist as we move closer to the debate. And then if she does succeed in getting out of this debate, I'm not sure it'll work out for her. They're assuming correctly the less time in front of the cameras, the better, less opportunity to say dumb things. But now those questions will always be hanging out there as vote-by-mail ballots arrive in mailboxes. But hey, don't take my word for it on politics, folks. If you really want to learn what you need to know about American electoral engineering, you need to go to Yale and you need to take Chris Christie's new class. Have you heard about this? Chris Christie is now going to teach a class at Yale.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Wouldn't attend it, though, but, you know.
Well, yeah, I mean, who would pay for it, right? But Fatty McThunder Biscuits, and you can check it out over my website, savejersey.com. He's going to teach a single credit course this fall semester. And the name of the course, and it's at Yale's Global Center, blah, blah, blah. All of these universities have these very elaborate centers for things because somebody gave them a ton of money. But it's called How to Run a Political Campaign. And he's going to run through, apparently, what you hope to accomplish in your campaign, what you hope to accomplish as a leader in the event you're successful. I'm assuming someone at Yale must be signing up for this, but as somebody that's been watching Chris Christie closely for a long period of time, I would encourage any Yale undergraduates to maybe take that pottery course because you might get more out of it. This is a guy who got smoked in New Hampshire back in 2016, didn't even make it to New Hampshire this time around. I mean, look, if it's going to be a cautionary tale where he's going to explain, hey, listen, if you sell out your voters and if you compromise your own principles in pursuit of the presidency, this is what can happen. You can end up a laughingstock where you can't even get anybody to buy your books. And you've been resigned to skulking around on X, taking cheap shots at the Republicans that don't want to hang out with you anymore. That might have value for aspiring future leaders. Beyond that, I wouldn't hope to find much value, especially if you paid to go to Yale, right? Can't imagine it's cheap. Unless didn't J.D. Vance get a pretty good scholarship?
Well,
he's a lot smarter than Chris Christie.
Well, J.D. Vance also he was in the military, so...
That's true. I think he had whatever
the GI Bill, I think it's called.
Right,
so
whatever the current equivalent of it was. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, because unlike Tim Walz, actually went to war. You're listening to The Matt Rooney Show, ladies and gentlemen. 1 hour done, 2 hours left to go. We're going to be back in just a little bit with Mark Mitchell from Rasmussen Report. You're not going to want to miss this. 855-839-1210 is the number. Quick break. Back with hour number 2 in just a sec.
The following is a paid commercial message.
Donald Trump's back, and he's out for control.
I would have every right to go after them.
Complete control.
I will wield that power very aggressively.
And he has a plan to get it.
Detailed plans for exactly what our movement will do.
It's called Project 2025, a 922-page blueprint to make Donald Trump the most powerful president ever. Overhauling the Department of Justice, giving Trump the unchecked power to seek vengeance, eliminating the Department of Education, and defunding K-12 schools, requiring the government to monitor women's pregnancies, and Trump has also proposed severe cuts to Medicare and Social Security. Those are Donald Trump's plans.
Well, revenge does take time, I will say that. And sometimes revenge can be justified.
He'll take control, we'll pay the price.
I'm Kamala Harris, candidate for president, and I approve this message. Paid for by Harris for President.
The Accord Hybrid, CR-V Hybrid, or the new Civic Hybrid. From Honda, the 2024 Kelley Blue Book's KBB.com Best Overall EV and Hybrid Brand. For a limited time, well-qualified buyers can get a 2.9% APR on a 2024 Accord Hybrid or at 4.9% APR on a 2025 CR-V Hybrid or Civic Sedan Hybrid.
Contact your local Honda dealer today.
See dealer for financing details based on 2024 Consumer Choice Awards from Kelley Blue Book. Visit kbb.com for more information.
Texting enrolls in recurring automated text marketing messages. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply. Reply help for help or stop to opt out.
Are you drinking too much? Is alcohol affecting your relationships? Could drinking be affecting your job?
Hi, I'm Jonathan, founder of Or Health. I struggled with alcohol misuse for 15 years. I tried self-help, therapy, and traditional 12-step programs, but nothing really worked. That's why I started Or Health. Or Health provides access to safe and effective medication, FDA approved for the treatment of alcohol issues. A daily pill proven to reduce alcohol cravings and make it easier to drink less or quit.
To join the thousands who are drinking less or who have quit altogether, text CHECK to 710-710. You'll be sent a secure link to Or Health's private online assessment. If treatment is right for you, a licensed medical professional will prescribe medication for discreet and convenient delivery to your door. Just text CHECK to 710-710. That's CHECK to 710-710.
Not available in all states. For SMS terms, privacy policy, risk, and restrictions, please go to orhealth.com/terms. Use as directed.
You've got lots of home projects to tackle. Luckily, the plumbing and electrical experts at Horizon Services are here to help. From fixing leaky pipes to upgrading landscape lighting, Horizon has your back. And right now, get $50 off any plumbing or electrical repair. Same-day service, expert technicians, and a job done right the first time. Need a plumber or electrician today? Visit horizonservices.com and Horizon's help is on the way.
Labor Day signals that fall is fast approaching. Apple picking, fall leaves, and chilly nights are on the horizon. With Legacy Box, you can cozy up and watch something special this fall. Your family's home movies. Legacy Box is the simple, safe, all-inclusive solution for preserving your family's memories, trapped on videotapes, film, even photos. After 10 years in business, Legacy Box is the world's largest digitizer. They've helped over 1 million families relive their wedding days, babies' first steps, and family road trips. Just fill Legacy Box with your VHS tapes, film reels, or pictures. Legacy Box digitizes it all by hand right here in the USA, and then sends it back on a thumb drive or the cloud. Future-proof your recorded moments today so you can gather the family and begin the trip down memory lane. Plus, for a limited time, they're offering 55% off. Go to legacybox.com/value to get 55% off. That's legacybox.com/value.
I'm Michael Toscano. A candlelight vigil after a day of protests in Israel against Prime Minister Netanyahu's handling of the war in Gaza, where 6 hostages were just killed.
According to Israel's Ministry of Health, preliminary autopsy reports have found all 6 were shot in the head, with the Israeli military saying Hamas was responsible. The news of the killings triggered spontaneous mass demonstrations across Israel, including outside Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's office in Jerusalem.
CBS's Imtiaz Tayeb in Jerusalem. The families of hostages continue to apply pressure not just in Israel, but also in the U.S.
Orna Nutra's soon-to-be 23-year-old son, Omer Nutra, is still being held by Hamas.
It's time for the leaders to get this done and get them out. Enough is enough.
Omer's father, Ronan Nutra, is asking for help from America's political leaders.
We're calling on President Biden, on Vice President Harris, to do everything in their power to reach a deal and bring the hostages back.
Both were on CNN. Christopher Cruz, CBS News, Washington.
Thousands of hotel workers began a 3-day strike today, pressing for higher wages and increased staffing. CBS's Chanel Call tells us it came after contract talks failed with Hyatt, Hilton, and Marriott.
With more contracts set to expire this year, we could see tens of thousands more union hospitality workers go on strike in the coming months. Some of the impacted hotels say they plan to stay open, but services could be modified or limited.
Tomorrow, Labor Day, means travel for many Americans. Meteorologist Andrew Kozak with CBS News Philadelphia tells us if the weather is going to cooperate.
If you're going to be traveling on Monday, we have some hot but dry conditions out in the desert Southwest, connecting through areas like L.A. and Phoenix. Not looking too bad. Texas, we're going to be talking about some massive flooding, and that could affect your travel for areas like Houston and Dallas. Southeast looking good. We have a couple of storms, but then from the mid-Atlantic to the Northeast, things are looking great for those New York City airports, looking awesome.
The road to the White House is getting pretty well traveled.
President Biden will join Harris for a Labor Day event on the trail in Pennsylvania. It'll be their first joint campaign event since the vice president became the Democratic nominee. Former President Trump heads back to Pennsylvania later this week.
CBS's Skylar Henry. 140 homes in Palos Verdes, California aren't safe after a nearby landslide. All power has been cut.
Every tough decision that we have to make, I can guarantee you we're not just doing it. If it's something we have to do, it is based on your safety.
That's L.A. County Sheriff Robert Luna talking to the affected residents of those homes. This is CBS News.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Get renter's insurance to protect the things that make your place a home, including coverage for theft or damage. Visit Progressive.com.
WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app. Live and local with Matt Rooney. On Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
Welcome back, old friends, new frenemies, and all who lie elsewhere in between on the spectrum that is life. This is the Matt Rooney Show. I am the aforementioned Matt Rooney. In the middle of our evening here, our numero dos of trace for our bilingual listeners here on 1210 WPHT, breaking down the week that gone by in order to prepare you for the week ahead. At a level that no one else ever has achieved. Yes, that's a dramatic statement. It's a heck of a claim. But that's what we do here on the Matt Rooney Show. We get more done in 3 hours than anybody else out there. Weekend, not weekend, anywhere else in the country. And that's why our program continues to grow by leaps and bounds. We are proud of our product, and we are going to keep at it right through November. 855-839-1210 are our digits. If you want to call in and participate, write them on your arm, save them in your phone. If you have something worthy for class, you might just get through. No promises. Or over on YouTube, youtube.com/@1210WPHT, where you can maybe even interact with me over in the comments section if you're lucky. Signs of Autumn says you found your sense of humor. I always have a sense of humor. We just don't always share the same level of ha-ha, right? As my wife reminds me all the time. I say something I think that's funny, and she kind of just looks at me, and I say, don't you think that's funny? And she responds in her Mrs. Rooney dry way, not as funny as you do. That's just the way life goes. Every married man knows this. I see Andrew nodding stoically in the producing booth. And we're also joined by Justin tonight, who is our, I wish not temporary, but probably temporary, Gen Z interpreter here on the Matt Rooney Show.
I mean, hopefully I become the permanent connection between the listeners and you and Gen Z. We'll see.
You can come anytime you want.
Should call him whenever, if you have a question, just have Justin's number on speed dial and be like, hey, we need an interpretation of this.
Yeah. Well, we'll do that either way, but you need to know that's how it works around here, because you come on this program and you prove your worth, right? And you demonstrate for everyone that you're a peerless talent, and then you're going to get poached at some point. That's the way that it works.
Well, I know for a fact that I will be here next week.
You will be here next. We'll check that out.
I think it's me and Andrew here for sure next week.
We're going to have a lot to talk about next week, too. I just saw while we were on break that Donald Trump is returning to the great state of Pennsylvania. He's going to have a town hall on September 4th in Harrisburg.
How about that?
Yeah, check that out. So we will definitely have a breakdown of whatever happens at the Harrisburg town hall.
He's definitely acting like Pennsylvania is kind of an important state in this upcoming election.
You may have heard.
Many people are saying this.
Many people are saying
I've heard some things down the grapevine here at 1210 WPHT that Pennsylvania may be important.
Hot tip, folks. Hot tip that Pennsylvania may matter. And if you look at the latest RCP average, it is close. It could not be any closer in Pennsylvania, truthfully, than it is right now. Let's look. As we sit here this evening on the Matt Rooney Show, Harris is up in the RCP by 0.5 point in Pennsylvania. And you got to remember that that's in part because you've got a garbage poll in there from Bloomberg. Bloomberg's polling has been so bad this cycle. I think they recently had one with Harris up 9 in Wisconsin. How many more cycles are we going to do this, where we say that some states like Virginia and Wisconsin are completely out of reach for Republicans, and then we finally get to Election Day and they're this close? They just don't know how to poll certain states, and that's assuming they're actually trying to honestly survey these states, which we know they're not. But we do have an honest pollster coming up in our program here in just about 10 minutes. Mark Mitchell of Rasmussen Reports, he's the head pollster over there, joins us on the Labor Day edition of the Matt Rooney Show. Very excited about this because today, as I said in the first hour, there was this ABC News poll that's out, which with Harris up 6 points. Nobody's had her up 6 points to date, and just my amateur eye scanning the crosstabs of this thing, there's some suspect findings. It also seems like it's very much of an outlier poll, but we know what they're trying to do. I've been warning you about this for years, yes, but also with special intensity and urgency over the past few months. The media is trying to depress you. This is what they want. They want Andrew to be sitting in his kitchen a month from now, right? And as he's busily preparing for another episode of the Matt Rooney Show, thinking, God, how could one guy be so lucky that he gets to do this 3 hours every Sunday night? He's going through his mail, and there's the bills, and there's the circulars from the supermarket, and then he sees his vote by mail ballot, and he says, you know what? Trump's down in all the polls. It looks like this is a quixotic effort by the former president to recapture the former glory of 2016. Yeah, I don't like Kamala Harris, but I got a lot going on. So if I get time to stop by the ballot box and return it before Election Day, sure. But I've got kids, I've got a life, I've got a job, I got a lot going on. I don't know whether or not I'm going to get to it. That's what they want. This is, and you learned this in 2020, right? This is election suppression. That's what many of these polls are. They love to talk about Donald Trump and election interference, and they use hyperbole, and they use half-truths, and they use naked lies to try to convince you that somehow Donald Trump and Republicans want to subvert democracy. There is no clearer example of the left doing this, because they own election subversion, than the polls that they pump out weekly this time of year on their network programs. They're garbage. And we know, and you don't have to take my word for it. I looked recently. Even if you include 2012, when Mitt Romney, Mittens, completely collapsed at the end, right? There was the hug between Chris Christie and Barack Obama on the beach, and Mitt Romney kind of closed soft and ended up actually underperforming his polling. Every other year for the past 20 years, so we're going back to 2004 for those of you that learn math from the teachers union, Republicans always overperform their position in the RCP average. I included 2012 when I did my math just because I wanted to be fair. On average, it's a half a point better. And in some cycles, it's way more than that. Donald Trump in 2020 was supposed to lose by close to double digits. Lost to Joe Biden ultimately, if you believe what happened in 2020, and I'll leave it at that for now. He ended up losing by only about half that nationally. The polls are almost always wrong. And yet, and I get it, we're all guilty of this, and I'm including myself. We still continue to look at them as if there's something that we might be missing, and they make us nervous, and they give us the sweats. You got to take polls and throw them in the garbage unless they're from a pollster like Rasmussen, where you know they're not part of the deep state. If there's one thing that we've learned recently, by the way, and this is really crystallized in my mind over the weekend as I'm absorbing the news and I see Joe Biden with his Crypt Keeper-like body on the beach in Delaware, which at this point he's basically just a little bit of skin over, I don't know, whatever organs are still functioning. It looks like like sometimes like you're cooking sausage on the grill and one falls between the grates and it gets kind of wrinkly and gross looking. Like it's basically what Joe Biden looks like on the beach at this point, right? So you got him, and then you got Kamala Harris, who does this pre-taped debate. Now she's trying to back out of the she does this pre-taped interview. Now she's trying to back out of the presidential debate, in part because of how bad she did, despite the fact that it's Dana Bash who did everything she can to try to help her, because Dana Bash is part of the deep state, right? And I'm thinking of all this, how poor the options are, and it dawned on me. It dawned on me, and it's not that I didn't know this, but I perhaps have never seen it as clearly before. This election is the ultimate example and the ultimate proof of that the deep state is real. Because they're no longer hiding it from us. They're saying the quiet part out loud. It doesn't matter who the president is. Joe Biden is not functioning as president right now. That much is clear. We don't know who is actually calling the shots on a day-to-day basis in the Situation Room, in the Oval Office, in the West Wing. Who's actually making the decisions? I have my suspicions. I'm sure you do too. I know Kamala Harris is not functioning as president. Who's the president? Well, they're telling us it doesn't really matter. All that matters, and all the media is telling you that matters, is to elect one of their people. And you shouldn't ask questions. They shouldn't be expected to answer questions. They shouldn't have to be subjected to scrutiny, because why would you care? It's the assigned candidate that you are supposed to support this year. You can't vote for the orange man. He's dangerous. He's crazy because he says what's on his mind. He's not one of their people. He's not part of the club. He's not part of the clique. He doesn't work for Deep State Inc. And this should be a terrifying revelation for anyone who, like myself, sees it as clearly as I do. But we still have to wake up more people. They don't get the joke yet. I think more get it now today than ever have before. But goodness gracious, folks, I've joked about it on the program in recent days, and I'll say it again. I've never thought of myself as a conspiracy theorist, but now I'm going to stop taking them seriously as soon as one of them ends up being disproven. Everything we feared about this country continues to be confirmed. We the people, right? You've seen that document that says we the people in order to form a more perfect union. It was a beautiful idea that we would be in charge of our country, but it's not what's happened in practice. It's the military-industrial complex. It's the media. It's the institutions of higher learning. If you're not watching on YouTube, I'm doing air quotes right now because there's not much elevated about what's happening on our campuses, right? I mean, some of the tents are pretty humongous that they set up during those Palestinian protests, right, when terrorists took over our college campuses a few months ago. Remember that? It feels like 6 years ago, given how much that's happened. I mean, we are in trouble, and we are locked in this existential battle between ourselves and people who think that they have the only right to make decisions for us. Now, those are the stakes coming up in November, and every weekend, even if you're tired of me saying it, I'm going to remind you, because I want you to have the same sense of urgency that I now have, and I know that we have on this station, that we've got to work, and we've got to work hard. Harder than you've ever worked before, folks, even though you'd much rather go home and put your feet up and watch the Phillies game and hang out with your family and your loved ones. I'm sure the founding fathers, the framers, they would have loved to do that, but they didn't because they couldn't. Now you can't either. Them's be the stakes. 855-839-1210 over on YouTube, youtube.com/@1210WPHT. Still so much that I want to cover this evening, and I'm going to do my darndest. We've got some stuff from the white supremacy stack, right? Because, now that Kamala Harris is stagnated in the polls, they have to start pulling out some of their familiar bags of tricks. So some of that is percolating out there. I have to comment on the Zuckerberg stuff, right? It broke earlier in the week, but wow, what a massive revelation. He put it in writing, which is the thing that really wows me, which makes me wonder if almost maybe this guy actually did have a pang of conscience. It happens. Right? Every now and then the villain second guesses his evil ways. Darth Vader, right? Threw the Emperor into the pit at the end of Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, well, it's funny. Like, most people would assume that because of how he presents himself or whatever, most people assume that Mark Zuckerberg is like a robot. But apparently...
Or some kind of non-human.
Yeah, or he's, you take the Wizard of Oz, the Tin Man who's looking for his heart. Maybe Mark Zuckerberg was like the Tin Man, and now all of a sudden he has a heart.
Yeah.
But who knows?
Who knows indeed. Who knows indeed. So we'll touch on that. We're going to get through as much as we possibly can. I always like to joke, we have more content in this program than the CDC says is safe to cram into a single show. But we do it anyway because we don't care what the elites say. We don't care what the deep state wants us to do. We do what we believe in here on the Matt Rooney Show in 1210 WPHT. We have a country to save, and we're going to make the most of every minute. Again, 855-839-1210. Quick timeout, and when we return, Mark Mitchell from Rasmussen. You're not going to want to miss this here on 1210 WPHT.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call, and I'll send you our Timeshare Exit Information Kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit, 800-329-2121. 800-329-2121. 800-329-2121.
Jim Cipriotti at Retire Ready Financial Group doesn't need Google to know you're worried about retirement. Between inflation, rising taxes, and the uncertainty about Social Security, he understands. That's why he offers a complimentary retirement second opinion. It's a no-obligation meeting for you to talk about your concerns about retirement. You want to know if you're going to be okay? Let's find out. 610-894-7415 or go online, retirereadyfg.com.
Insurance and annuities offered through James V. Cipriotti, NPN number 2083768.
Don't miss the Education Show with Dom Giordano every Sunday morning at 5:30. Find out how you can help your child or grandchild succeed. Sponsored by New Hope Academy.
Labor Day means back-to-school clothes for the kids, and that means a lot of laundry for you. There may not have been a deal on Little Debbie's designer denims, but you can save $300 on this Whirlpool top-load washer to make sure they last. There are more ways to wash with this 2-in-1 Whirlpool washer with removable agitator for only $449. The Labor Day sales event is going on now at Gerhardt's Appliances, where 80 years of small business is kind of a big deal.
Hey, it's Rhea. Keep the summer vibes going with Lexus of Cherry Hill during the Golden Opportunity Sales Event. They are proudly celebrating 35 years in business. Over 300 new and L-certified pre-owned Lexus to choose from, and the all-new GX has arrived. Being veteran-owned, family-operated, and a 6-time J.D. Power Dealer of Excellence winner, Lexus of Cherry Hill provides luxury customer service. So go talk to Tony and his team to set yourself up with some of the best deals of the year. Visit LexusofCherryHill.com.
For J.D. Power Dealer of Excellence information, visit jdpower.com/US-DOE.
Don't miss the Labor and Energy Show with J-Doc and Krause, brought to you by Advocacy United, this Saturday night at 6. Find out about the important issues that'll affect you. The Labor and Energy Show, Saturday night at 6 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call
800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
This is Jonathan Cans, third-generation owner of Marvin E. Cans Heating and Air Conditioning. Have you recently had an HVAC tech at your home to fix your unit and he wanted to sell you all types of upgrades? Look, if your AC unit is acting unruly this summer and needs to be fixed, we'll send out one of our technicians to do one thing: fix your AC. And if we do think you need a new one, we'll have one of our factory-trained install teams put in a new state-of-the-art train cooling system to keep you cool. Visit us at marvinecans.com. That's marvinekанze.com.
Get your laugh on with me, Chris Jericho, and the Talk is Jericho podcast. We've got Guns N' Roses Hall of Famer Duff McKagan and his joke of the week every Friday, plus regular visits from the hilarious Brad Williams and special appearances by everyone from Gabriel Fluffy Iglesias, Mark Maron, Dennis Miller, Cheech Marin, Kevin Nealon. If they're funny, they're on Talk is Jericho. So listen to and follow Talk is Jericho now on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, Ambler. We know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Follow us anywhere on the free Odyssey app.
My little cousin's down at the beach, and he's texting me, come on, we're over at the bar. Come and have a drink. I'm like, dude, I'm on the radio. I'd love to be down at the great Jersey Shore, where I spend much of my time with the rest of New Jersey and Pennsylvania, but we got a job to do around here, Andrew.
We got to save the Republic.
We got to save the Republic, man. Can't take a weekend off.
No.
Wish I could. Got in all the fun we had time for, and now it's time to get down to serious business. And part of that serious business is, as I've said earlier this hour and every single week that I'm on the air, is making sure that the pollsters don't succeed in depressing you. It's election suppression. They want you to want to jump off a bridge every time you see their surveys suggesting that Donald Trump does not have a chance. You got to know who to look to make sure you're getting an honest attempt at surveying public opinion. And I happen to believe our next guest tonight is one such pollster. I think you can trust this guy. He takes his job seriously, and many of you have been following the work of Rasmussen Reports for many years. He is the head pollster currently over at Rasmussen, and I love his Twitter, right? I always say Twitter, X, whatever it is. I think it's okay to still say Twitter, but I love his profile. People are biased. Polls shouldn't be. Sums it all up, doesn't it? So without further ado, let's talk to him about what's going on with this ABC poll and election 2024 generally. Mark Mitchell, welcome to the Matt Rooney Show and 1210 WPHT. Appreciate you joining us.
Happy to be here. And I'd also like to tell everybody I'm a Jersey Shore guy myself, so if that counts for anything, Ocean Grove, born and raised.
Ocean Grove. All right. That's one of the best ones, actually.
Yep, great place.
Yeah, it's great. Now, see, being a South Jersey guy, I'm right outside of Pennsylvania. I'm more of a Cape May County guy. We've always gone to Ocean City, Seattle, but they're all fantastic wherever you land, until Phil Murphy puts up those windmills off the coast and drives everyone away. But we're going to enjoy them for as long as we can. So we knew there was something we liked about Mark Mitchell. We assumed it was just the polling. It's also that he's a Jersey Shore guy, so that counts in his column. The other thing I like about you, because I've been following you over on X for a while now, you don't pull bunches, and you've already had a little bit to say about this ABC News poll suggesting that Kamala Harris is up 6 points, that this thing is essentially over. And I think
incredible.
It really is. Why don't you tell us why you reacted the way you did? And if you haven't seen it over on X, folks, you can follow Mark at Mark_R_Mitchell. I can't overstate how insane this is. That's how you opened up with your commentary.
Yeah, we've been in the business for 20 years. We've pulled through a lot of cycles. We've seen a lot of stuff. I'm coming from outside the industry, but let me tell you, I'm constantly surprised every single day this cycle in new ways that pollsters appear to be finding ways to lie to everybody. And it really makes me sad because I think they're polluting the industry. Public opinion used to be revered, and now really nobody trusts pollsters whatsoever. And that's why I'm trying to go straight to everybody and say there's a human on the other end of this. And we all have biases. I have mine, but I'm not lying to you because if we're wrong, our business fails. But this particular one, and every single one of these polls has something just a little bit different, something that they can hide behind, something that anything short of full transparency would prevent you from knowing what they really did. But if you look into the crosstabs on this particular poll, again, showing Trump down 6 nationally, and this is the same ABC News that owns 538 that kicked us out of the aggregate for ideological reasons.
One of the most accurate pollsters consistently, Rasmussen, and they scrubbed you. Well, that's why, right? Because you're accurate. They just don't like what you're saying.
With us there, they can't be a better propaganda tool. They rated us B+ in 2020. They kicked us out in 2024. But I'll say if you look at the demographics on that poll, one of the things that I very quickly found, and I'd love to focus on my own polling. I don't get to dig into every single one of the other pollsters to the same amount. But here they have favorability numbers for Waltz, Vance, Harris, and Trump. And the pattern that you'll see here is if you go to Real Clear Politics and just look at the average of everybody's favorability, the industry doesn't like Trump. They have him down, let's say 8 to 9 points worse favorability. When you subtract positive favorability from negative favorability, you get net favorability. So he does 9 points worse than Kamala Harris. In this poll, he did 28 points worse. This is the Donald Trump that's been on the national stage for 10 years, who had more votes than any Republican in history. And in this poll, they gave him less favorability than, 19 points worse than the entire industry. I made a joke that they must be basically polling people on the streets of Manhattan outside their office, because that's the kind of mix of people they're getting. And this is going to go straight to a headline. Everybody on the left is going to parrot this thing all over Twitter. And it is absolutely a garbage poll. I can only assume that half of their Republicans must be never Trumpers or something. I don't even know how you create a data stream like that, because Trump supporters are tripping over themselves to answer my polls. I have to weight them away to get rid of the positive bias that they put in.
So that's the perfect segue to talk about your survey. What is Rasmussen doing? Because your latest survey, I believe, at least the one that RCP is using, has Trump up 2 nationally, a little tighter than before, but still a very significant lead for Republicans. Republicans have only won the national vote once this century, back in 2004. What is Rasmussen doing different than, let's say, an ABC?
Well, we're not fudging our numbers, so there is that, right?
The whole not cheating thing, yeah.
Yeah, we're also not really. I think there's a lot of fragmentation of data sources in the industry, a lot of attraction with new forms of analytics, and also this trend to really drop a poll every 2 or 3 weeks and then overanalyze it to sort of get a smooth result, something that looks window dressed, I guess is the right way to do it. Our motto is poll every night, release the results. And we do not mess around with our methodology is very non-controversial. There's 90 million landlines in the U.S. Half of our polling comes from those people who reliably love picking up our phone, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of them. The other 50% comes from the same online data sources that other people are using. We seek out really high-quality online data aggregators, and I am transparent about how we weight it, which is gender, age, race, and party, and we're also adjusting our results to the 2020 vote because right now I'm getting too many Trump supporters. They say that they voted for Trump over Biden 51% to 45% on average in my poll, and maybe they did, but I'm still weighting it to 49% Biden, 45% Trump. And despite that, in every single poll this year, Trump's been beating the Democrat. Kamala Harris hasn't surpassed Trump once in our polling. And even if we were a point right, which I don't think we are, I think we were a point and a half too left in 2020. I think we corrected for it. But even if we were a point or two right, that's still 6 points right of where Donald Trump was doing in our polling 4 years ago. So, and you'll see that same pattern everywhere else. And so that's what I would tell people to look at. Don't look at the headline ABC number and say, 6 points, Kamala Harris is going to win, the race is over, where did all the support come from? Look at what ABC News was polling in 2020 and 2016. And I think you'll see the same pattern. Donald Trump is doing better almost across the board with everybody. Call it 5 to 8 points better than he was doing in 2020. And as we all know, he lost by 116,000 votes across 4 swing states. So that is really catastrophic for them. And I'll tell you also, this 2-point lead that we have Donald Trump, I mean, that was collected right after the DNC. Everybody said for weeks and months that she's going to get a huge DNC bounce. This was going to be the height of her support. And, I mean, it was pretty paltry. I didn't really see any bounce. I publish a chart of all of my individual overnight polls. That's one thing we do that nobody else does. We literally show you the trend. And she, was low 40s early August. She's kind of getting 46s and 47s now, but that ain't going to cut it. And we predicted back in June, we said, well, if, Biden drops out, Biden loses about 5-6 points to Trump, depending on when you were looking at it in our polling. And she is a better candidate, so she'll do better. And election season is going to heat up. There's going to be negative advertising. And that's exactly what happened. There's about 3 points gain for her. 4 points over where Biden was 2 months ago, and that's just not going to cut it. And I don't know where the rest of her positive, there's nothing this week. There's the debate next week. I think there's reasons for them to be a little trepidatious about that.
Just a little.
But what else is going to move the needle for them? They have to change millions of people's minds between here and November, or it's over for them.
Yeah, no, I think you're exactly right about that. And even Nate Silver, who I'm not the world's biggest Nate Silver fan, but all of a sudden in recent days there's been a swing in his election prognostications towards Donald Trump again. And one of the things that he's used to explain that is, hey, listen, her polling is remarkably mediocre at this point, and what positive is going to happen for her going forward? The battlefield seems to benefit Donald Trump. So at least on that front, I think that he's probably on to something. You've talked about your own survey, and one of the reasons I love what Rasmussen does is because it's so transparent. You don't get that from the other pollsters. Other than checking out the good work you guys are doing, for those of us out there that are just nervously refreshing the RCP average every minute of every day between now and November, what do you recommend we look for heading forward?
Well, we'll have new state numbers out in the middle of September. I think our last set was pretty encouraging. It was basically Trump a statistical tie in every single one of the states we tested, and that was August 20th was the last data day. So that was, a good time to take it to show positive Harris support. I honestly wouldn't be clicking on RCP. What's fascinating to me is how few polls are coming out, because it's almost like pollsters kind of want to run from everything. But I would say there are a few vocal pollsters. Rich Barris does this a lot too. He's got a lot of great info on all the way that these people are being scumbags. I try to do my best as well, but every day on my Twitter feed we'll put out the latest nightly results. And the last night of data, Thursday night, and again, this is after her DNC, after this amazing bounce she was supposed to do, we had a night of data with Trump up 4. So to me, in the polling, and this gets back to Nate, I think Nate's a straight shooter. I think he's trying to do the right thing. I think sometimes he gets a little diluted. The polling picture to me, and in my polling and in everybody else's, is, in my opinion, a picture of her support starting to crack. It hasn't turned. It's just not this wall of blue on Real Clear Politics that you were seeing before. And the fact that it's happening now is not good. But what's fascinating to me about Nate Silver's model is that the polling hasn't really turned yet, but his model turned hard right.
Right.
And so to me, that says he's messing around with the variables behind the scenes. And whatever. I mean, if it's the model that leads the data or the data that leads the model.
And I know Rich Barris, you mentioned him before. He's been on this program. He had some colorful things to say about this disconnect between the polling and what Nate Silver is all of a sudden saying. But I guess, as you say, I mean, if you get to the right result, what's the difference?
Well, it's dangerous for them because where's the narrative that she's winning going to come from, right? Right now, the betting markets are tied to Trump up. Nate Silver is Trump up big. Our polling is Trump up comfortably. And really, when they go into the debate, I think they wanted a narrative. Kamala has the momentum. She's surging on the coattails of a great DNC. And what it's really going to look like is this campaign's falling apart and she needs a massive win or the wheels fall off. And it's going to be one or the other. And to me, it's looking like the latter, not the former.
And you think it might be cracking. That's your phraseology. Where is it cracking? Where are we seeing the fissures opening up in her coalition? Is it with maybe some non-white voters that were maybe flirting with her? Is it with white educated women in the suburbs who've been a stubborn problem for Republicans in a recent cycle? Where is she potentially in trouble?
I would hesitate to say any individual demographic just because those things, listen, the top line numbers swing around. The internals of the polls are going to swing around even more than that. And to really know an answer, I would want to take 3 or 4 weeks of data and compare it to data 3 or 4 weeks later and really average them out. And to be honest, we just don't have enough polling on her to even know that. I think there was probably across the board some excitement, and those do change the results in a poll. Like polls swing around depending on where the cycle is, especially likely voter polls. And I think that's important because you pick up the signal of the way that public opinion is trending. But there was excitement around the DNC. She got a little bit more 18 to 39-year-olds, definitely a little bit more Hispanic support, a little bit more independent support. The independent support's already kind of going away. And so that's, it's not going to last. And that really matches with everything I've seen in the last 2 or 3 years. And it's like this political Armageddon. Everybody knows Trump. Everybody knows what Biden and any other adjacent candidate really represents. So when you see anything now, like that Biden debate really didn't move the needle in our numbers. Of course, all the way across the polling industry, Biden support dropped. So in our numbers, actually, people kind of rallied behind him because they're like, oh, shoot, Trump might win this, right? But it's almost like his bad performance gave all the pollsters permission to throw him under the bus. And what we also saw is when Biden dropped out and endorsed Kamala, her numbers in the industry, if you look at Real Clear Politics chart, it's very clear. She just has this rapidly ascending blue signal, like an upward diagonal line. And look at our numbers on our Twitter feed. She had like a jump up to 43 or 44. I think Biden was in the high 30s or low, it was a solid jump up, but her numbers have really been kind of sideways to slightly ticking up. Totally different shape. And I'm the only one in the industry releasing continuous daily numbers. So that's why I think the polling industry, first off, they're starving the news cycle of polls. They're polling about 1/3 the amount of what they were polling in June and July. I don't know if that's because nobody wants to lie that much, or they got a tap on their shoulder, or maybe they ran out of their budgets. They blew it all in July. But it's like there's 3 or 4 of them playing ping pong, trying to get the headline number of a Harris win higher and higher. It's like, Reuters has been, I think, party of this. New York Times has been doing this as well. I guess Bloomberg Morning Consult just released one. I think that was Harris +4. Maybe they'll edge their ways up to Harris +10, and if they can get there. But they're certainly going to diverge from what we have.
Yeah, that seems to be the only certainty that we can say as we head forward and we look at these polls. They continue to get wackier and wackier, and as we've reminded our listeners over and over again, these universities and these legacy outlets that lie to you day in and day out about everything when it comes to the public sphere, why would you assume that this is the one arena where they're being honest with you? You just can't trust them. But, we all trust Rasmussen. We've been following Rasmussen reports for a long time, folks, as I know you have. There's a couple outlets there that take their work seriously because unlike the universities, and I think this is key, and unlike these networks who have a perverse incentive to give you a certain result, if Rasmussen doesn't give you accurate data, they're not surviving, right? They don't get their money from the mainstream guys, right? They don't get their money from the deep state. They actually have to produce and give us results that ultimately match up with what we see on Election Day. So we appreciate all the good work you're doing, Mark Mitchell, even though I'm sure you take a lot of grief from the beautiful people out there in the polling industry that think that you and Kalehi and Barris are all nut jobs, right? But you're doing it anyway. And we really
just hide in their ivory tower. I haven't heard a peep out of any single pollster. They hide in their ivory tower, and they have apparatchiks that show up in your Twitter feed, and they say things of zero substance and think that it changes opinions. It's actually sad and kind of hilarious.
Yeah, it is. And I'm hoping that the joke's going to be on them on Election Day. I know you do, too. You're over at RasmussenReports.com, right? So we always give the URL, folks, when people come on, but you know where to find Rasmussen. You go there all the time like I do to find out the latest. And you can check out Mark again over on X, Mark_R_Mitchell. We really, really appreciate you making time for us, especially on Labor Day weekend. And maybe we can convince you to come back a little closer to Election Day to see whether or not Donald Trump's still on the right track.
Oh, I'd love to. Let's do September after those state polls come back. That'd be great.
Sounds like a plan. Mark Mitchell, everyone, here on 1210 WPHT. Mark, we really appreciate it. We'll be back with more on the Matt Rooney Show in just a moment. Don't move a muscle.
You can host the best backyard barbecue when you find a professional on Angie to make your backyard the best around. Connect with skilled professionals to get all your home projects done well. Inside to outside, repairs to renovations. Get started on the Angie app or visit Angie.com today. You can do this when you Angie that.
Do you feel like you're going through life clouded by doubt? Talk to California Psychics. Our trusted and accurate psychics are available 24/7. And we guarantee, if it's not life-changing, it's free. Download the app or connect with us at CaliforniaPsychics.com. Right now, new customers get 80% off their first reading. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
I'm John Morgan. When people stop me to ask, what's my case worth, here's what I tell them. All law firms are not the same at all. You see, the most important part of anyone's injury case is the firm you hire. The insurance company knows exactly which firms fight for full value and which firms will settle your case for pennies on the dollar. Our firm has recovered billions, $3 billion last year alone. There's only one Morgan & Morgan. Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you. Morgan & Morgan, official partner of the Philadelphia 76ers.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. It's that time for the Rescue Natural Supplement Labor Day sale, the ultimate celebration of savings and well-being. Right now, all Rescue supplements are slashed up to 70% off. Plus, enjoy free shipping, too. So whether you're searching for immune support, joint care, heart health, or a youthful glow, Rescue has health essentials for everyone. Take a break. Celebrate your workplace achievements with savings on a probiotic, omega-3s, multivitamins, and so much more. Call them at 800-26-ALIVE, 800-262-5483. Speak to a knowledgeable product consultant, or you can shop online at res-q.com, res-q.com. Celebrate Labor Day with 30 to 70% off. Again, all Rescue products are slashed up to 70% off site-wide. No codes needed. Just call or go to res-q.com to get this Labor Day deal right now. Start feeling like a new you with Rescue today.
An American Heritage Cash Reward MasterCard helps you tackle that to-do list. Get up to 3% cash back at home improvement stores, groceries, and pharmacies. And when the chores are done, treat yourself to a well-deserved vacation, earning 2% cash back on travel, hotels, and rideshares, and 1% on everything else you buy, including back-to-school supplies. Apply today at AmericanHeritageCU.org/credit cards. Subject to credit approval. Insured by NCUA. Equal Opportunity Lender.
Labor Day signals that fall is fast approaching. Apple picking, fall leaves, and chilly nights are on the horizon. With Legacy Box, you can cozy up and watch something special this fall. Your family's home movies. Legacy Box is the simple, safe, all-inclusive solution for preserving your family's memories trapped on videotapes, film, even photos. After 10 years in business, Legacy Box is the world's largest digitizer. They've helped over 1 million families relive their wedding days, babies' first steps, and family road trips. Just fill Legacy Box with your VHS tapes, film reels, or pictures. Legacy Box digitizes it all by hand right here in the USA, and then sends it back on a thumb drive or the cloud. Future-proof your recorded moments today so you can gather the family and begin the trip down memory lane. Plus, for a limited time, they're offering 55% off. Go to legacybox.com/value to get 55% off. That's legacybox.com/value.
Texting enrolls in recurring automated text marketing messages. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply. Reply HELP for help or stop to opt out.
Are you drinking too much? Is alcohol affecting your relationships? Could drinking be affecting your job?
Hi, I'm Jonathan.
founder of Or Health. I struggled with alcohol misuse for 15 years. I tried self-help, therapy, and traditional 12-step programs, but nothing really worked. That's why I started Or Health. Or Health provides access to safe and effective medication, FDA approved for the treatment of alcohol issues. A daily pill proven to reduce alcohol cravings and make it easier to drink less or quit.
To join the thousands who are drinking less or who have quit altogether, text CHECK to 710-710. You'll be sent a secure link to Or Health's private online assessment. If treatment is right for you, a licensed medical professional will prescribe medication for discreet and convenient delivery to your door. Just text CHECK to 710-710. That's CHECK to 710-710.
Not available in all states. For SMS terms, privacy policy, risk, and restrictions, please go to orhealth.com/terms. Use as directed.
We're the Goo Goo Dolls. We're fortunate that our daughters have what they need to grow and learn. But that isn't the case for nearly 13 million kids in the U.S. that struggle with hunger.
Childhood hunger is a heartbreaking reality that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste and provides it to families and children in need.
You can help kids in need in your community by visiting feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Hey, Riverton. We know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
We're still several weeks away from Halloween, ladies and gents, even though if you've been to one of the big box home improvement stores, they already have all the decorations out. But I've got a slightly spooky story for you from outer space this evening. Believe it or not, you never know what you're going to get on the Matt Rooney Show. It's actually the lead story over on FoxNews.com at the moment. So one of the astronauts that's currently stranded in space because our government is completely incompetent and Boeing's not much better, has reported what he describes as strange sonar-like noises coming from a Starliner capsule. Now, the Starliner capsule is empty, but the astronaut has reportedly told NASA engineers based down in Houston, I'll let you all scratch your heads and see if you can figure out what's going on. This is Captain Butch Wilmore. He reported there's a strange noise coming from the speaker, and I didn't know if you could connect into the Starliner and hear. And apparently what it's emitting is a pulsing sound that's been described in published reports as resembling cymbals. So figure that one out. Sounds like an X-Files episode. A little spooky. And let's also not forget that as these astronauts are stranded in space, not only is Elon Musk the one that's been tasked, along with SpaceX, in getting some of them home, but who is in charge of the National Space Council? Kamala Harris. Going to remind you, folks, every time something comes up regarding these poor astronaut heroes that are stranded up there in outer space, that this is just another failure of the Biden-Harris administration. Notice I said Biden-Harris. She's going to continue to try, as she has in recent weeks, to convince you that somehow she's had nothing to do with the Biden-Harris administration. Forget the fact that she has her name attached to the Biden-Harris administration. I'm over on the website right now for the National Space Council. The National Space Council, within the Executive Office of the President, is charged with providing objective advice to the President on the formulation and implementation of space policy and strategy. How about getting our men and women home? And it even mentions in the description how, under the leadership of its chair, Vice President Kamala Harris, the NSPC advises and assists the President. I've never seen anyone with so many resume lines that they're not willing to defend. Think about that. She was an attorney general in California, United States senator. Now she's vice president of the United States running for president. She can't talk about any of it because it's all horrible. People don't go to San Francisco anymore. There used to be a time when it was a wonderful city to visit. Now, remember that app they were talking about to figure out where the poop is on the sidewalk, human poop? That's what's happened to this once great city. You're safer at Alcatraz than you are in San Francisco proper. And that's in large part thanks to Kamala Harris, the woman who now wants to be president of the United States. And speaking of safety, we're going to get to this in the next hour. I'm going to make Andrew and Justin hold my feet to the fire on this one because there's so many things I want to get to. I never get to them all. We have to talk about what's going on out in Aurora, Colorado, because I think part of the problem with talking about illegal immigration is even though you saw those testimonials at the RNC the same as I did, there are a growing number of Americans out there, unfortunately, who are victims of the criminal epidemic that's come about as a result of our open border. But until this problem gets really bad, I think plenty of Americans, our fellow Americans, they're going to cast ballots this November, are not going to appreciate exactly how dire the situation is. Well, this is an example. What happens when a foreign international criminal gang takes over an apartment complex in an American city, located a significant distance from the border, right? I mean, you don't need me to actually draw you a map, right? Look at the map at your house, right? Pull one up on your computer right now, folks. Go onto your browser, type map of the United States. Aurora, Colorado is not a border town. And yet it is being overrun like so many other American localities because the Democrat Party made a decision many years ago that, hey, the more people we can bring in and promise free stuff, that's going to help us get elected in future elections. We can make these people our people by allowing them to break the law and promising them goodies paid for by the American taxpayer, free education, free health care, driver's licenses without any type of verification of even legal residency, forget citizenship. Well, the chickens are now coming home to roost, and just like her space gig, Kamala Harris, despite being the border czar, doesn't want to be anywhere near this one. But the Trump campaign needs to be all over this one. And I suspect they will be. More on that in our third and final hour coming up in just a few moments. So buckle up, pop some popcorn, put on another pot of coffee. We'll be back on the Matt Rooney Show in a few moments. Don't go anywhere.
When you haven't found love, it can feel like everyone else has. It's in every movie, every song, and all the PDA. Looking for love sucks. Thankfully, California Psychics can give you the guidance you need to find the one. We guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com and experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
We're the Goo Goo Dolls. We're fortunate that our daughters have what they need to grow and learn. But that isn't the case for nearly 13 million kids in the U.S. that struggle with hunger.
Childhood hunger is a heartbreaking reality that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste and provides it to families and children in need.
You can help kids in need in your community by visiting feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. Back to school. Life gets busy. No time to cook. Don't worry. Captain Chucky's to the rescue. Locations everywhere. Let Chucky's help you with quick, delicious, and fresh meals perfect for your hectic schedule. Visit WeLoveCrabCakes.com.
With NJ Diet, you can lose 20 to 40 plus pounds in only 40 days. They have customers that have lost 37 pounds, 100 pounds, and over 120 pounds, and they've kept it off. You'll have more energy, and you'll probably see better lab results. NJ Diet uses your hair, saliva, and blood work to provide you personalized natural formulas and supplements so you can lose the weight, and DNA testing will help you keep it off. Lose 20 to 40 plus pounds in only 40 days, contractually guaranteed. Go to njdiet.com.
Hey, it's Joe DeCamera. Right now, stop by United Tire and say you want to trade in your tires, and you'll get $100 off 4 new tires. No promo code needed, and you'll get United Tire's no-fault road hazard coverage for free. That includes free maintenance like rotations, flat repairs, and more. That's 2 amazing deals. Nobody beats United. All other promotions apply, like manufacturer rebates. United Tire completes for you. Go to UnitedTire.com to find the locally owned United Tire location nearest you. That's UnitedTire.com. Don't drive alone. Drive United.
With the incredibly spacious 3-row Chevy Traverse, you can change.
Let's just meet at the concert.
Into.
Why don't I pick all you guys up on the way?
The advanced safety engineered Chevy Blazer EV lets you turn.
You think we should turn back?
into full steam ahead. And with the affordable Equinox EV,
keep an eye out for the next Charger, kids.
Becomes
Get comfortable, kids. We'll be home in 4 hours.
For summer adventures, Chevy's got you. Chevrolet, together let's drive.
Pastor Brad Lacey here, First Baptist Church, Conshohocken. Join us Saturdays for the great message and be blessed. 5 a.m. right here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
You can host the best backyard barbecue when you find a professional on Angie to make your backyard the best around. Connect with skilled professionals to get all your home projects done well. Inside to outside, repairs to renovations. Get started on the Angie app or visit Angie.com today. You can do this when you Angie that.
Do you feel like you're going through life clouded by doubt? Talk to California Psychics. Our trusted and accurate psychics are available 24/7. And we guarantee, if it's not life-changing, it's free. Download the app or connect with us at CaliforniaPsychics.com. Right now, new customers get 80% off their first reading. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
The following is a paid commercial message.
I'm Kamala Harris. Here's a few things I believe. Middle-class families, like the one I grew up in, they want common sense solutions. You want lower prices and lower taxes. I believe you want to just not get by, but you want to get ahead. We must create an opportunity economy where everyone has a chance to get a car loan, buy a home, start a business. And I believe we can make that happen.
Kamala Harris's plan? Bring down costs by cracking down on corporate price gougers. Make homeownership more affordable for families. A middle-class tax cut for 100 million Americans. And make sure billionaires and big corporations pay their fair share so you can keep more of the money you've earned.
Instead of being focused on the politics of the past, we need to be thinking about the future and how we make it better for families like yours. I'm Kamala Harris, candidate for president, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Harris for President.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app. Live and local with Matt Rooney. On Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
We made it! Hour number 3, ladies and gentlemen, and it's usually one of the best hours. But I'm a little biased because I'm always having fun every minute that I am on 1210 WPHT for the Matt Rooney Show, and I am honored, privileged, all the superlatives, all the things, as Gen Zers would say, that you've decided to join us, especially on a holiday weekend, right? Some of you are at the beach, some of you may be up in the mountains, many of you are at home jamming things into your freezer, potato salad, hot dogs, burgers in preparation for a Labor Day barbecue. Hopefully most of you are getting a day off tomorrow, even though I know some of you aren't. So the fact that you're deciding to spend your Sunday evening hanging out with myself and Andrew and Justin and the rest of the thousands of people out there in the Matt Rooney Show audience in the Delaware Valley and beyond, there's not enough I can say about it. 855-839-1210 is the number. Over on YouTube, youtube.com/@1210WPHT. Have plenty more we want to get to before 10 o'clock.
Real quick before we get into this, I just wanted to make note of Mangle Mush in the chat. Remember how we were talking about Kamala spending money for a full minute ad on 1210 during the break?
I was thinking that was a little bit of a curious ad by myself. And we were speculating because those of us that come on the air, they don't let us touch the money, right? I don't know how it works. So I don't know if maybe, all right, she's buying some ad time on B101 or WIP or something, and they're like, hey, we'll throw in an ad on 1210. I don't think she's getting much out of it. What does Mangle Mush think?
I mean, they were just laughing about how they're just wasting money spending a full minute ad on 1210, which I agreed. I brought that up when you brought it up during the break. I couldn't believe it.
You know what, though? To that point, if anybody's listening, and there's a chance you're in Pennsylvania, somebody from the Pennsylvania Democrats, the Harris campaign, whatever, if you want to spend $10 million on the Matt Rooney Show between now and November, do it, because that's $10 million that you could just as easily dump into the Schuylkill or flush down the toilet, but I repeat myself, right? And it's not going to do you any good, except for perhaps, help us out here at the station, right? Because the more advertising money, the better. So I'm actually going to encourage it. More Harris ads on 1210. We can laugh about them in the comments over on the YouTube page, and that'll be that much less scratch that Kamala can spend on ballot harvesters and all of the other ghouls and goblins, which are soon going to be hitting our streets in eastern Pennsylvania. Andrew endorses the idea.
Maybe.
You got to think about it.
Yeah, there's so much in-depth stuff with this kind of thing. The old saying is, family members of mine, they used to say, whenever you decide something, take 24 hours and really, really think about it and then come back.
You are way too mellow and even-minded for a South Jersey, and we're supposed to be a little more hot-headed, pal.
I'm from Philadelphia.
And impulsive.
I was born.
South Jersey's basically Philly.
Yeah, but I'm from the city, Northeast Philadelphia. I was for the first 11 3/4 years of my life. I lived there. So.
And then you were
New Jersey,
imported to New Jersey,
exported,
and now you're
to
one
New
of
Jersey.
us.
Yeah.
Well, we imported you.
Yes.
You were exported by Philadelphia. You fit in better on this side of the river.
On
just
how
throwing
you look
that
at
out
it.
there.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see if there's more Harris ads as the weeks grind on here, getting closer every single day to Decision Day, when we find out whether or not Donald Trump is going to do what only one other man has done in the history of our country, which is win a non-consecutive presidential term, or whether or not we will enter into an era of joy and coconuts and Venn diagrams and more inflation and more difficulty if you're a Gen Z or moving out of your parents' basement.
Unburdening our parents' basements.
Oh, the parents' basements are going to be burdened for a good long time. There's going to be parents all across this country opening up the door, noticing a stank drifting up the stairs, and maybe, a distant sound of an Xbox playing whatever the latest game is that all the kids are playing with, and they're just going to close the door and they're going to say, thank you, President Harris, for making it so that I can't retire to Florida and I have to continue to keep this house because my Gen Zer can't afford to move out of it. Them's be the stakes as we chug forward here. But we're going to do the best we can on this program to get as much information to as many people so we can avoid that fate. So again, over on YouTube, youtube.com/@1210WPHT. Give us a like. And also, I'm going to post over on my social media. Matt Rooney NJ is my handle on X. You can also check me out at SaveJersey.com. Our interview with Mark Mitchell from Rasmussen, if you missed it in the last hour. One of the things I love about Rasmussen, and we got into this in the interview if you weren't able to join us, he shows his math, right? So many of these pollsters, they give you a little bit of information about how they're operating their poll, how many people responded, whether or not it's live callers or not live interviewers, rather. And that's it. That's not how they roll at Rasmussen. It's transparent. It's one of the reasons why it's one of the more accurate pollsters. Also one of the reasons why the mainstream guys absolutely loathe them, because honesty and accurate results are not the business that they're in. They're trying to manipulate you, depress you. We're not going to let them get away with it, at least not around here. So on that note, let's get down to some of the topics that I wanted to get to, because we've got plenty we gotta chat about before our final hour is up. Notably, what's going on out in Aurora, Colorado. So if you've missed this story, and even though I am not blinded to what's happening as a result of illegal immigration, some Americans are just waking up to it. You and I have been following this for a long while. The fact that we now have this Venezuelan gang, an armed gang that's reportedly taken over apartment buildings in an American city in this country, many, many, many miles from the border, it's stunning, it's depressing, it's angering. You should be a little ticked off. I am. On Friday, the mayor of Aurora, Colorado, his name's Mike Kaufman, announced that the city is going to begin clearing these apartment buildings, where reportedly, again, a transnational armed gang, and their name is Tren de Aragua. Tren de Aragua? I don't know. I took like 4 years of Spanish and internalized none of it, folks, so I can't really help you here. I could find a bathroom if I was stuck at an airport in Madrid, but that's pretty much it. That's about as much help as you're going to get from Matt Rooney. Mi español is muy mal, Justin. Muy mal. See? That's about all I got.
It's Tren de Aragua. Again, I'm also Puerto Rican, so I will be the Spanish contingency here too.
What can't this guy do? Andrew, what are you here for?
Training purposes.
What is he should be training you in Gen Z jargon, and aren't you also?
I am Puerto Rican as well.
Puerto
yes.
Rican?
Yeah.
Where has this been? Do you know any Spanish?
Yo no hablo español.
I'll tell you what.
That's bad, I know.
Justin,
It is what it is.
I mean, listen, Justin, like I should advise you not to show him up, but you're showing him up pretty badly right now.
It's fine. Like I'm in it to make the station better, the Matt Rooney show better. So
you don't care how it happens.
No, I mean it's I'm a team player, man.
So we're all in this together.
No, I'm sorry. I'm not gonna say it. Sorry.
All right, so let's let Justin wear another hat now here at the station, right? He's now our not just our Gen X representative or Gen Z representative, but he's also our Latinx correspondent.
Don't say that. Don't you dare.
Well, that's one of the reasons why you're on the show, because you're disgusted by this woke garbage that comes out of the universities. But what exactly does that gang name mean?
It's basically Tren de Aragua. It's this river area in Venezuela. It's not like a specific like Latin Kings or like any MS-13 where there's a specific. It's basically just part of the region around where they're at.
Okay. All right, so it's just letting everyone know that, hey, we have pride in this place that we came from. Okay. All right. Okay. Be like if I had a gang called South Jersey.
Pretty much, yeah.
All right. Which I'm not looking to start one anytime soon. I don't think it'd be a very tough gang. But according to Kaufman, who's the mayor of Aurora, Colorado, and he posted this on Facebook, the Aurora City Attorney's Office is preparing court documents to request an emergency court order to clear the apartment buildings where Venezuelan gang activity has been occurring by declaring the properties a criminal nuisance. This will require a municipal judge to issue the order with the goal of getting these properties back under the control of the property owners. In the meantime, the law enforcement task force set up to disrupt and arrest Venezuelan gang members in these buildings will continue its operation. I strongly believe that the best course of action is to shut these buildings down and to make sure this never happens again, concludes Kaufman. Well, I've got bad news for Mayor Kaufman, but it's going to continue to happen unless we can close the border and deliver on the mass deportations that Donald Trump has promised. And Donald Trump, and it's not just good politics here, folks. I mean, as an American leader, he has to talk about this. He seized on this news out of Aurora, Colorado, to promise that he will make sure that this doesn't happen again. This is Cut 4. This is Donald Trump speaking about the migrant gangs which are running wild, not just in Aurora, but beyond all across this country, far, far from the border.
And you see what's going on in Colorado. I don't know if anybody got to see Aurora. I mean, they're taking over the city. They're taking over apartment complexes. These are young, very tough people. These are tough. They make our criminals look nice. That's the only thing good about them. Our criminals are like nice people by comparison. And if you saw the Colorado thing, and this is happening all over, just not Colorado, but the Colorado thing caught the imagination because there were many of them with the biggest weapons that you've ever seen. And these came from Venezuela, which is emptying out all of its criminals.
Now, see, Donald Trump has said for many years now that they're sending us their worst, right? They're sending criminals across the border, rapists, murderers. And he was pilloried by the left for being a racist, a bigot, a xenophobe, for saying that. Well, I mean, look, when you're talking about a mass migration, uncontrolled migration of millions of people, yeah, obviously there's some people in there that genuinely want to get better health care for their kid that's got a unique condition. They want to make some money to send home or bring their family here to have a better way of life. We're the only country in the world, all right, that for generations people have wanted to break into. We're so horrible, so racist, so terrible to the poor and huddled masses of the planet that want to come here, that everybody wants to come here, even if it's not legal. Go figure, right? But in this particular instance, these gangs that are coming in from Venezuela and elsewhere have validated Donald Trump. Because there are thousands of really bad people that are allowed to come into this country because of our open border policies, which have been expanded under Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Rapists, murderers, violent gang members, human traffickers who engage in a little bit of all of the above. And it's not going to stop. It's not going to end until we have a president in the White House who believes in America first. Specifically, that America should have borders that protect us from other countries where some of the folks being sent here don't share our values. That's just the hard truth of it. Now, look, I am not wishing what's happening in Aurora, Colorado, on anyone in this country. I don't want to see this. I want Donald Trump to win because I want this to end. But there is a part of me that recognizes that oftentimes, not just in America, but anywhere, any group of individuals we're talking about, anywhere on the planet, we often don't make the right decisions until the catastrophe has already transpired. 9/11 comes to mind, right? How many warnings did we have that Islamic radicals were on the verge of doing something large-scale and awful before the events of September 11, 2001? And we did nothing. We never acted until finally thousands of Americans lay dead beneath the rubble of the World Trade Center and, of course, down at the Pentagon and in a field in Pennsylvania, not really all that far by car from where we're broadcasting tonight. That's just the way that it works. And I wonder if we're not going to take this situation at the border seriously until every American community of a decent size has something like what we're talking about right now. And we know that that's the case, right? MS-13 is already, for example, very active in many American cities. But I think you might have to have a lot of this happening in a lot of different places, and you're going to have more suburban crime before some of these nitwits in the burbs who feel liberated to vote their woke values, right, who care more about abortion and protecting their right to kill their young than to actually protecting the Americans that are born in here and living with us, right? They're going to have to experience some of this awful violence before they finally wake up. I don't want it to happen that way, but I know history. I'm a student of history, like many of you are, and I know that that's just the way that human beings are. It's one of the quirks. Some of it is probably just avoidance, right? We don't want to accept that something's horrible because we don't want to deal with it until we feel like we have to. I have a sneaking suspicion with the illegal immigrant invasion that it's a similar set of circumstances. And the 9/11 parallel, before some of you jump down my throat, not all that far off. We know that members of the terror watch list have entered into and/or attempted to enter into this country on Joe Biden's watch, right? Think about how many other budding, aspiring terrorists have entered into this country over the past few years that we don't even know about, that we haven't intercepted. What do you think they're here for? Do you think they're here because they heard that it's Hoagie Fest and they want to get a hoagie from Wawa? Do you think they're coming in because they want to see the World Cup? I mean, what do you think they're here for? They're here to recruit. They're here to launder money. They're here to sow mayhem behind the lines of the country they view as their enemy, the United States of America. Elections have consequences, and it goes beyond whether or not you can leave your parents' basement and buy a house, right? The primary job of any president is to be a commander-in-chief, to protect the people who reside in this country. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris have failed at that most fundamental of all duties, and I sure hope they pay for it at the ballot box coming up here in just a couple short months. But that's up to all of you. 855-839-1210. YouTube.com/@1210WPHT, where things are active and busy over in the comment section. Hello, Adeline, who's coming in from the Low Country. Always glad to have you with us because we've got plenty of listeners well beyond the Philadelphia region, I'm proud to say. And they pop up from time to time. We've had callers from San Francisco. We've had callers from up in North Jersey and New England. It's amazing with the miracle of the interwebs who you can reach. And we're happy to have all of you with us because we're in on this together, right? We're all in this struggle to save our country together from the epidemic of good vibes that Kamala Harris wants to send our way. God help us. Let's take a break. Let's play some ads. Let's make some money. Maybe there'll be Kamala Harris ads. I don't know. But as I've already told you, I'm happy to let her waste money on this station if she wants to. This station being 1210 WPHT. Back with more Matt Rooney Show in a sec.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Dan owed an unbelievable amount of money to the IRS.
I got behind on my taxes. It's a horrible feeling.
He was in denial.
And when I got those letters from the IRS, you wanted to act like they didn't exist.
Finally, Dan turned to Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima got me a settlement with the IRS. These people are really people-friendly. It was every bit of a new lease on life for me.
The fast action and the great results made Dan's head spin.
I felt like I was in a dream, but it's real, and I have paperwork to prove it. They got the job done, and life is good.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation.
If you're worried about what's going to happen with the IRS, stop worrying. Make the call now.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Is your kitchen or bathroom in need of a makeover?
It's time to transform your home into a personal oasis with Emmons Remodeling.
Our expert team specializes in kitchen and bathroom renovations, creating beautiful, functional spaces you and your family will love. We handle everything from design to installation.
So call us today at 856-885-6677 or visit callemmons.com. From top to bottom,
to inside and out,
at Emmons, we have you covered.
Don't miss the Education Show with Dom Giordano every Sunday morning at 5:30. Find out how you can help your child or grandchild succeed. Sponsored by New Hope Academy.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. It's that time for the Rescue Natural Supplement Labor Day sale, the ultimate celebration of savings and well-being. Right now, all Rescue supplements are slashed up to 70% off. Plus, enjoy free shipping, too. So whether you're searching for immune support, joint care, heart health, or a youthful glow, Rescue has health essentials for everyone. Take a break. Celebrate your workplace achievements with savings on a probiotic, omega-3s, multivitamins, and so much more. Call them at 800-26-ALIVE, 800-262-5483. Speak to a knowledgeable product consultant, or you can shop online at res-q.com, res-q.com. Celebrate Labor Day with 30 to 70% off. Again, all Rescue products are slashed up to 70% off site-wide. No codes needed. Just call or go to res-q.com to get this Labor Day deal right now. Start feeling like a new you with Rescue today.
Texting enrolls in recurring automated text marketing messages. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply. Reply help for help or stop to opt out.
Are you drinking too much? Is alcohol affecting your relationships? Could drinking be affecting your job?
Hi, I'm Jonathan, founder of Or Health. I struggled with alcohol misuse for 15 years. I tried self-help, therapy, and traditional 12-step programs, but nothing really worked. That's why I started Or Health. Or Health provides access to safe and effective medication, FDA approved for the treatment of alcohol issues. A daily pill proven to reduce alcohol cravings and make it easier to drink less or quit.
To join the thousands who are drinking less or who have quit altogether, text CHECK to 710-710. You'll be sent a secure link to Or Health's private online assessment. If treatment is right for you, a licensed medical professional will prescribe medication for discreet and convenient delivery to your door. Just text CHECK to 710-710. That's CHECK to 710-710.
Not available in all states. For SMS terms, privacy policy, risk, and restrictions, please go to orhealth.com/terms. Use as directed.
At Independence Blue Cross, we take care of the people who take care of you. Everyday heroes like firefighters, police officers, teachers, farmers, and healthcare workers. Doctors and hospitals across the region have IBX, and they know what it means to have reliable access to care. So whether you're saving lives or just trying to live a healthier life, count on IBX, the region's #1 health insurer for 85 years. Learn more at IBX.com.
When you haven't found love, it can feel like everyone else has. It's in every movie, every song, and all the PDA. Looking for love sucks. Thankfully, California Psychics can give you the guidance you need to find the one. We guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com and experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
"Hey, you got this. Just breathe." Hey, we're pretty good.
Yeah.
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Keeping free speech alive. Odyssey's #1 talk station. Talk Radio 1210. WPHT. WPHT.
Latest Trafalgar poll out of Pennsylvania. Trump up 2 in the Keystone State. That's pretty good. Not too shabby. And the Trumpster, as I mentioned earlier in tonight's program, is coming back to Pennsylvania this week. He's coming to Harrisburg. He will be there on September 4th, that's Wednesday, I think. Does that sound right? Because today's the 1st. Yeah. Math is hard. He'll be in Harrisburg for a town hall on Wednesday. So that should be pretty interesting. If you want to head over there and try to sign up to get in, those things are always very difficult to get into, but you can sign up, try to get on the list, get yourself to a Trump event. I highly recommend, and you're in a unique position if you live in Pennsylvania or near Pennsylvania, over the course of the next several weeks to participate in history, not just by casting that ballot, but to also get yourself to one of these events. They're unbelievable. I've been to 2 Trump rallies, both in New Jersey, both in Wildwood, and there's nothing like it. Just as a student of political science, strip ideology and your party affiliation out of it. To see that many people, a relatively diverse group of people, notwithstanding what the media wants you to believe, they're standing for hours because they believe in something, it's something else. It's kind of a secular religious experience in a way. And before some of you jump down my throat, see, he admitted it, he's a cult leader. No, because when you're part of a cult, that means you blindly believe in something. We believe in Donald Trump because we've woken up and we've stopped listening to everything that they're trying to cram down our throats, in our ears, to delude us with on a day-to-day basis. We woke up and then we found Trump, not the other way around. The situation out in Colorado is no doubt distressing. I'm talking about what happened in Aurora, where now we have a major American city, right, having to devote resources to dislodge a transnational gang that never should have been allowed to set down roots to begin with. If we had a sane border policy, never would have gotten to this point. But that's what America voted for in 2020, and that's what we now have. But despite the stakes of this election, and I wanted to talk about this tonight, and I'm going to get to it here. Despite the clear catastrophe that lies in store for this nation if Kamala Harris somehow becomes president come January 2025, there are some, specifically in the pro-life movement, who've taken X over the course of the last few days to say that they're now not voting for Donald Trump. They're not sure they're voting for Donald Trump. They're voting third party over this IVF thing. Have you heard this? I suspect you might have. I'm hoping this is one of these things that it's inside baseball. We talked earlier in tonight's program about how for all this talk about Brat Summer and coconut memes, most, not just regular Americans, likely voters, are not paying attention. I'm hoping this is kind of the same thing. But for those who have not been clued in, Donald Trump recently proposed providing free IVF services to the American people. Now, I kind of emphasize free there because we all know how this works. There's no such thing as a free lunch, right? If Donald Trump is going to make a priority of his administration to make sure that IVF is free, what that really means is it's going to be subsidized by you, me, and everybody else. And I will tell you, because I've been asked by some friends in recent days how I feel about this, I'm still a constitutional conservative. I love limited government because limited government is how we guarantee our freedom, right? The bigger government is, the more expansive it is, the more chance that you are going to have your liberty deprived from you, not only because government takes control of your capital, but government has more ability to influence your day-to-day decisions and eventually take those decisions, or that decision-making authority, I should say, away from you. But I will say this. If my government is going to take my tax dollars and spend them on anything, rather than half the garbage we talk about on programs like this that are being subsidized with your tax dollars, we need people to start having babies. Okay? There is a population disaster shaping up, not just in this country, all throughout Western civilization, because young people want to be pet parents. They don't want to be actual parents. I've actually had these conversations with people crying about whether or not they're going to be able to, keep their dog alive for another 5 years when the animal's already 15 because of what their vet wants to charge them to treat the animal's latest malady. And I'm thinking to myself, what if you had spent all of this energy and all this treasure on investing in a human? Somebody that could, grow up and maybe take care of you when you're old, right? And help advance our civilization so we don't die out in our lifetime. J.D. Vance got in a lot of trouble for his cat lady comment. I will defend his commentary on that issue If it's the last thing I do, folks, because I'm speaking as a millennial here, it's a legitimate problem. And we're naturally not talking about people that, can't have kids. That's clearly not what anybody's talking about here. The left wants to make it about that because they're always trying to divide us. We're talking about people that make a conscious decision to essentially opt out of the future by not having a stake in the future. So if we're going to blow money on anything, I'd rather blow it on this and policies of the like that we've seen in certain Eastern European countries in recent years to get Americans to start procreating again. It's one of the ways that we would make America great again. Here's some comments from Trump to this effect. This is cut number 10.
IVF has been an issue that has become political. A lot of people talking about it. What's the Trump administration going to do when it comes to IVF if you get elected?
Right. Well, as you know, I was always for IVF right from the beginning. As soon as we heard about it, it's fertilization and it's helping women and men and families, but it's helping women able to have a baby. Some have great difficulty, and a lot of them have been very happy with the results, as you know, and what we're doing. And we're doing this because we just think it's great, and we need great children, beautiful children in our country. We actually need them. And we are going to be, under the Trump administration, we are going to be paying for that treatment. So we are paying for that treatment.
All Americans who want it?
For all Americans that get it, all Americans that need it. So we're going to be paying for that treatment, or we're going to be mandating that the insurance company pay.
That's Donald Trump talking about IVF. Now, some pro-lifers have said that this is an immoral position, one which makes it difficult for them to support the former president in his quest to become the current president once again. And I'll put my cards on the table if you're a new listener, and many of you are, because the show continues to grow, the station continues to expand its reach. I'm pro-life, right? And I think that abortion is a stain on our national character. Late-term abortion in particular is absolutely barbaric. But I'll tell you what, if you want to make IVF the hill that you're going to die on, then you are committing to dooming countless other children to an actual death in the years to come. Because Kamala Harris, you think abortion rights, right, quote unquote, are going to retract if she's president? Abortions are going to be raining from coconut trees, folks, if Kamala Harris ever makes it back to the West Wing and is actually sitting in the big chair. It frustrates me so much when my fellow conservatives have no pragmatism. And this is one of the things the conservative movement has lacked in recent cycles, right? We'd rather go riding off the cliff, waving our flag, than to actually say, you know what, we have to build a coalition. And in order to build this coalition, we're not going to compromise our principles, but we're going to make it clear that we have a governing agenda, and that governing agenda is going to be constructed based upon what we think we can do to build a winning coalition in the coming election. And if you think you're going to build a winning coalition by staking your vote on IVF opposition, I mean, I don't know what to say to you. But this is why we can't have nice things. Does the left ever do this? I mean, they can't even tell you what Kamala Harris believes in. They're prepared to line up and vote for her. Think about how many Democrats have their panties twisted tonight as we're here on the air over fracking. They hate fracking. They're opposed to anything that they think is going to limit the lifespan of Mother Gaia, right? They're okay with slaughtering whales in pursuit of offshore wind. But Kamala Harris is sticking her thumb directly in their eye by flip-flopping on fracking. They're still going to vote for her. So I am not here to tell you to compromise your principles. I'm here to tell you you live in a country with 330 million people, and there's only two parties that have a chance of winning the White House. You ain't going to win it, folks, by letting the perfect be the enemy of the good. I'm just saying. And I'm also, to be clear about this, because I know some of you disagree with me, I am not suggesting there isn't a point where somebody goes so far out into left field, if you will, where there is no longer a difference between the parties. We've seen that happen, especially in my state in New Jersey. There's some Republicans in New Jersey who are so deluded and have gone so far out into left field that, voting for them, I'm not sure really whether it does make a difference. You could actually argue you're hurting the Republican brand by supporting some of these politicians. But, come on, folks. There's never been a clearer choice than the one we currently have before us. Right? And we see what happens, right, when Republicans are willing to say, you know what, we're going to prioritize because we need to win this battle in order to guarantee the future. Many doubted, and I was one of them back in 2016 as a conservative in the primaries who wasn't sure about Donald Trump and whether he was actually committed to advancing the cause of liberty and limited government. Did anybody have on their bingo cards back then that he would be the one to end Roe v. Wade? Ronald Reagan didn't do it. George H.W. Bush didn't do it. George W. Bush didn't do it. John McCain and Mitt Romney didn't do it. Plenty of politicians, quote-unquote pro-life politicians, didn't get it done. It was the apprentice guy who finally got it done. So, at the risk of offending some people, but when do we ever care about that around here? You got to check yourselves. Relax. Don't allow your emotions, which this is what the left does, don't allow your emotions to rule you and give them exactly what it is that they want. This is exactly what they're aiming for with this issue. They are trying to divide and conquer. They are trying to split us up. Don't let them get away with it. Don't give them what they want. Just saying. And speaking of perfectionism, I was hoping we'd have time to get to this one, and we can. This is from a website called Woke Spy. And it also ties in nicely because we were talking about NASA earlier. Because Kamala Harris has stranded some astronauts up in space who are now hearing creepy noises, ghosts, aliens, who knows. Perfectionism and a sense of urgency are characteristics of white supremacy, according to NASA. Footage shared on social media reveals NASA's diversity, equity, and inclusion training features engineers claiming they feel shame for being white and taking part in quote-unquote white supremacy culture. The video was shared by conservative outlet Tenet Media and features two sections of the DEI training program. The first element features a white woman explaining how she felt her actions to support minority groups did not go far enough, adding that she held a lot of shame and regret for her previous decision-making. She also said she was looking forward to the DEI session to make her workplace more anti-racist going forward. In another clip from the seminar, another speaker shared a slide containing characteristics of white supremacy culture. Such traits apparently include perfectionism, fear of open conflict, individualism, a sense of urgency, and the idea that, quote, progress is bigger, more. So there you go. The next time, Andrew or Justin, when you are running to the bathroom or running to the printer during these relatively short breaks we have here in the program, know that I, as the European white male here in our little show, feel bad that I'm projecting my white supremacist values, this sense of urgency that anybody here on this program may feel. Take your time. Don't run back. There's no rush because this is an anti-racist program.
Because, dead air is great for ratings, and the FCC is not going to get us in trouble for anything.
If it's what it takes to make everybody feel included and that things are equitable, I guess that's what I need to do as a guilty white male, right?
That's it. Like Kamala always says, let us be unburdened by the FCC regulations.
Those burdening FCC people.
That's right. That's
Terrible.
right. What happens when government regulators turn on each other? But, I mean, look, we're joking around here, folks, but, do you see how insidious this is? A sense of urgency is racist or a byproduct of a racist system? This is, I say it all the time. I'm going to say it again, even if it annoys some of you. We're no longer debating tax brackets. We're no longer debating how much to subsidize something. This debate has gone so far beyond that. We are talking about whether or not your family has a right to be protected from a murderous Venezuelan international gang that is taking up residency near your house, right? We're debating whether or not your children are raised to think that, hey, work ethic is racist. That's why, again, I get frustrated with some of you when you get annoyed at some of the nasty things Donald Trump says, or you don't entirely agree with him on IVF. Get over yourselves. Seriously, we are trying to save our civilization from whack jobs. You're either fighting alongside us or you're part of the problem. There's a duality here, right? And you got to line up on one side or the other. Choose, and I encourage you to choose wisely. 855-839-1210 is the number. You are listening to the Matt Rooney Show. We are coming up on the end of the program. My blood pressure continues to rise. That's usually what happens here on the air. So you can count on us closing out the program with a bang. Be back here in just a second.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call, and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit, 800-329-2121. 800-329-2121. 800-329-2121.
I'm John Morgan. When you call Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm, your very own army springs into action immediately, 24/7. Our investigators, legal staff, and over 900 lawyers work together to fight to get you the best result as quickly and easily as possible. Insurance companies know who we are, and now you know it too. This firm was built for greatness. This firm was built for you. Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you. Morgan & Morgan, official partner of the Philadelphia 76ers.
What's on the menu for football season? Pork, of course. Get ready for game day with Hatfield and put some pork on your fork. Elevate your kickoff cuisine and halftime feast with Hatfield's winning lineup of marinated pork tenderloins, pork loin fillets, ground pork and sausage, bacon and ham. Whether you're the tailgate king or gridiron gourmet, Hatfield helps you savor the taste of victory. Visit simplyhatfield.com for play-by-play menu inspiration. Find your flavor with Hatfield.
Hi, I'm Angie Hicks, co-founder of Angie, and one thing I've learned is that you buy a house, but you make it a home. Because with every fix, update, and renovation, it becomes a little more your own. So you need all your jobs done well. For nearly 30 years, Angie has helped millions of homeowners hire skilled pros for the projects that matter. From plumbing to electrical, roof repair to deck upgrades. So leave it to the pros who will get your jobs done well. Hire high-quality certified pros at Angie.com.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-511-3535. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider, 800-511-3535. That's 800-511-3535. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with, call Big Lou at 800-511-3535.
40 days to lose up to 40-plus pounds with NJ Diet. It only takes 40 days to lose a contractually guaranteed 20 to 40-plus pounds. NJ Diet uses your hair, saliva, and blood work to personalized supplements that will target your hormonal imbalances so you can lose that weight. Then NJ Diet uses your DNA info to help you keep it off. Call Dr. T, 855-5NJ-DIET, or go to njdiet.com. 40 days up to 40 pounds, 40 days up to 40 pounds, NJ Diet.
Colonial Marble and Granite invites you to experience a Labor Day sale with the works. Now get fully installed countertops for $0 down and 0% interest for 18 months on items $1,999 or higher. Visit any Colonial showroom to discover our dazzling variety of natural and engineered stone and take advantage of these and other great values. But hurry! After September 3rd, these deals won't work. Restrictions apply. Visit colonialmarble.net for details.
The impact of a meal goes well beyond feeding our bodies, because when people don't have to worry about where their next meal is coming from, they can truly thrive, like Marta.
And now we'll hear from our class valedictorian, who with our hard work never ceases to amaze us. Please welcome Marta Moreno.
And Alex.
Hey, Alex, how did the interview go?
I did it! I got the job! I can't believe it!
I knew it. Let's meet up later to celebrate.
And Diego.
Mom! I got first place at the science fair with my volcano project.
That's amazing, sweetie. Congratulations.
Because when people are fed, futures are nourished, and everyone deserves to live a full life. Join the movement to end hunger at feedingamerica.org/actnow. feedingamerica.org/actnow. A public service announcement brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Hey, Clementon. Yeah! We know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. WPHT.
One of the ways that you know that Kamala Harris is starting to flail here and her campaign knows they're in trouble, it's not just trying to back out of the Philadelphia debate. That's a clear sign. We talked about that on our program tonight along with Mark Mitchell from Rasmussen. You also have them falling back on their time-tested strategy of throwing the kitchen sink at Donald Trump day in, day out, trying to find a vulnerability, and they're not having any success. The latest feigned controversy is this absurd attack from Donald Trump's appearance at Arlington National Cemetery. This one really peeved me, if you want to know the truth of it. And hopefully you can hear it in my voice. Donald Trump gets invited to participate at a solemn ceremony attended by Gold Star families, people whose family members have made the ultimate sacrifice so that we can have a free country, right? Regardless of what you're going to be doing this weekend, you are able to do that because of these men and women who were abandoned by Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. I'm reminded of it every time I get behind this microphone. The reason I'm able to get behind this microphone that I'm going to break if I keep pulling on it, one of our YouTube listeners pointed that out to me earlier tonight. Zioli did that once. He pulled this darn thing right off. So I'm on a path to do that, and Stocker's going to kill me. But Joe Biden and Kamala Harris abandoned these families. Donald Trump went to Arlington National Cemetery while Kamala Harris is running around the country ducking reporters, while Joe Biden is sleeping on the beach, and stepped in to serve as the commander-in-chief at a time where we do not have a commander-in-chief. We have a deep state that's pulling the levers of government power behind the scenes. So he did that for those families, and those families were grateful. And yet now the apparatus that is trying to elect Harris Waltz is attacking Donald Trump, saying he allegedly violated cemetery regulations, that he broke the law, that what he did was so disrespectful. And Donald Trump, I thought, had the perfect answer. He not only had Tom Cotton go out there, who's got more credentials than Kamala Harris and Tim Walz would ever have in this regard, would ever hope to have in this regard, shoot it down on the Sunday shows. He also, every time Kamala Harris posted something about it over on X, would respond with a testimonial from a Gold Star family. We don't have a lot of time left in the program, but I think you need to hear from one of them. This is Jacqueline Schmitz. She's a Gold Star mom to Lance Corporal Jared Schmitz. Listen to this.
Kamala, your statement is nothing more than a political spin to help you look better in your presidential campaign against Donald Trump. You have never walked a single day in our shoes. Our kids were murdered because of your administration, and you are partly to blame for that as well. What happened at Arlington was President Trump was invited by those families who have their soldiers buried at Arlington. They were invited there as a friend, as somebody who has taken the time numerous times on numerous occasions to hear our stories, to speak our kids' names, and to help us get some accountability from your administration, because in over 3 years, we have gotten nothing but more and more lies. Just like your statement, more and more spun lies and cover-ups to make you and your administration look good. But there is one thing that you said in your statement that was true. No one should be running for president if they cannot honor military members, their families, as well as veterans. So I guess that means that you should step down, Kamala.
Now, Jared, for those of you who don't remember, was killed in action on August 26, 2021, just a little over 3 years ago, along with 12 other members of our United States Armed Forces, while conducting an evacuation from the airport in Kabul. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris abandoned these men and women. They haven't even pretended to care about the fact that they doomed these heroes to die. And by the way, in case you were wondering, during her interview with Dana Bash, Kamala Harris even today is doubling down on the decision that she and Joe Biden made. This is cut number 2.
You just made a really big decision. Afghanistan.
Yes.
Were you the last person in the room?
Yes.
And you feel comfortable?
I do. And I'm going to add to that. This is a president who has an extraordinary amount of courage.
An extraordinary amount of courage to sit on a beach on his saggy ancient keister while our country's being invaded, our economy collapses, and these Gold Star families suffer. And yet he has the gall to criticize Donald Trump for being a commander-in-chief while we don't currently have one. Whew. I mean, Jacqueline Schmitz, she's more restrained than I ever would be if I found myself in her position. God bless her. God bless all of these families. And listen, if you don't take anything else away from tonight's program, remember what Jacqueline said, remember what Kamala said, and think about who you want leading your country over the course of the next 4 years. I don't think it's a difficult choice, and I suspect that most of you agree with me. And if you agree with me, join us again next Sunday night here on the Matt Rooney Show on 1210 WPHT. Appreciate so much you making time for us on your holiday weekend. Thank you to our producers, Andrew and Justin. Thank you to everybody over in the comments section that was lively and punchy and salty and fun during tonight's proceedings. And, of course, thank you to all of you out there, regardless of where you're listening, South Jersey, Pennsylvania, the Jersey Shore, the Poconos, and beyond. Safe getting home as we begin September. And until next week, stay safe, stay sane, and keep fighting for this greatest nation in God's creation. It's worth it.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-511-3535. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have